Start stream. There we go. All right. Now I'm looking good. How's everybody doing today? Welcome in. Welcome in. Back off my day off. I'm ready to party. Back off my day off. I'm ready to party. To make potty. Yes. Say hi to my folks for me. Vicky. How's everybody doing? Welcome in. Welcome in. I know I'm late today. It's all good. It's all good. We're just getting this thing started. We're just moving forward. Thanks so much for the crab. She blind. I appreciate that. She blinded. Thank God it's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. I got date night was well, it wasn't very datey yesterday. Wasn't very datey yesterday, but that's okay. We had things to do. Sometimes you got to get things done, you know? But I did get a new hat on date night, so that works. I did get a new hat for date night, so and I'm rocking it. I love it. You know what I'm saying? I did, however, so I got my new contacts yesterday. So he gave me 2 sets to wear. So he increased the prescription on one of them. I put them in. I wore them all day yesterday. I was fine. Today, I tried the other one with the old prescription on it, but new style, and I couldn't see. So there's a possibility you're going to see me without glasses on probably in the next few days. So you might see new glasses, new hat. I just cut the sleeves off this shirt today. See, there's all sorts of new stuff going on here. There's all sorts of new stuff going on here. You know, we got the new sleeveless shirt, the new hat. You don't want to see my hair right now. It's a mess. I got a haircut. I got an appointment to get my haircut on Monday. Because it's pretty bad. All right, y'all. As you guys are coming in, if you guys are on the TikTok side, please double tap that screen. If you're on the YouTube side, please go hit that like button and that subscribe button. I really appreciate you guys. We do this every day, so we're just getting this thing moving. And pretty soon we will open up these phone lines, you know, do what we do here on these lives. Fascinating. You guys seen that commercial for ultras with William Dafoe where they're playing pickleball? You guys seen that thing? Where they're like, we're pretty high level, and he's like, fascinating. Dude, every time he does that, I don't care how many times I've seen that commercial. It makes me laugh every single time. Fascinating. Like, just I want to use that in a debate. Now, I want to use that in a debate, the way he looks at them, because it's just like, because they're like, I'm pretty high level, and he's just like, fascinating. I would play it on here, but it's a literal beer commercial, so I literally can't. It'll get me in trouble. Thank you guys so much for the heart me's. I really appreciate that. Make sure you guys are sending your heart me's. You know, when you guys are on my team and you guys haven't sent your heart me within like, you know, a week or whatever on TikTok, I can see you. It shows up gray. I can see you guys. I know who to call out. I don't be calling y'all out like I could be. All right. I'm over here being nice today. All right, y'all. Welcome in. Welcome in. Like I said, we're just getting this thing started. Come on in. Come on in. We haven't even opened up the phone lines yet. We haven't even started with the conversations yet. Waiting for the YouTube stream to spin up. It's taking a little bit of time today. That's okay. It does that sometimes. It takes a little time to spin up, but it'll get there. Just take a few moments. Oh my goodness. I kind of crashed out there at the end on Wednesday, didn't I? I kind of crashed out there on the end at the end on Wednesday. I was that was a little bit of a crash out for me. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. Dude, I was so sick of it, bro. I was so sick of it. It was just like, man, like if I have to talk abortion one more freaking time today, like I was just like so over it. And like it was a rough ending to that live. It really was. Like I think on top of that, like I didn't like I kind of just had one of those days on Wednesday when I didn't really want to go live. And I didn't really want to go live, and then I ended up going live. And so once I was already live, then I was like there, and then like that happened, and I was just like, oh, 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 like it's it's just crazy how and it's funny how it like because I said, and I'm probably not even gonna talk abortion tonight, to be completely honest with you. If someone brings it up, I might not even talk it tonight. Like there's a strong possibility. I'm just like, no, I'm good. Like, because I'll be straight. But it's just crazy how it's just like almost always 20 something year old freaking boys. You know what I'm saying? It's always like 22-year-old boys. I mean, I'm not even gonna call them like men. Like they're children. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like I think of all the times I've argued abortion on this live, and it's been so many. I think it's been like twice against a woman. Like twice. It's always some boy without freaking without like without kids, without being married or ever having been married against like, like doesn't even have a girlfriend, like no prospects, you know? Like and it's the same dude. I talk to this I don't care what kind of iteration, like whoever it is, it's just the same dude reincarnated a thousand different ways, you know? And it's just sad that that's like where we've gotten to in America um where it's like, oh, Trump can literally just destroy America. Like, let's destroy our economy, let's destroy our foreign relations, let's destroy everything. But we think he fights for our moral rights and our religious rights on abortion. So we're just gonna support him no matter what crazy shit he does. It's wild. It's wild. So, anyways, like I said, there's a good chance I'm not even gonna talk about it today. If someone wants to bring it up, I'll probably just excuse myself from the conversation and move on to somebody else. Like, it's not that serious. I don't. It's not like I'm gonna. You know, you guys all know me. You guys know I have no problem debating it. But so like I'm not. Yeah, I don't got anything to prove. And if I do it tonight, I promise you it'll only be once. I won't do it again. So if I do debate it tonight, it'll be one time, and I won't debate it again. So, and if I am gonna do it, it's gonna be against somebody who at least I can talk to and have and try to have a decent conversation with it about it. But um, but if I can't have a decent conversation with them, then I'm not even gonna worry about it. So, anyways, all right, y'all. Like I said, if you guys are on the YouTube side, please hit that like button. I really appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button. We're going to get this thing going. If you guys are on the TikTok side, let's get this thing up to 25,000 likes. I really appreciate that. We're about to open up these phone lines in just a minute, and the multi-guest button in just a minute. So if you guys would like to have a conversation with me because you support Trump, we're going to have some conversations. We're going to have some debates. We're going to have some banter. So if you guys are on the TikTok side, hit that multi-guest request button. That's how we get that thing started over there. If you guys are on the YouTube side, you can call that number that's right above my head. And that is how we'll get things going. If you guys like support, like as always, I do have super chats open on YouTube. I put them up on the screen. Like this person who just says, pray for the Texas flood victims and family. Amen to that. If I prayed, I would. But I do hope we do more than thoughts and prayers for them. I hope we actually, support them. Unlike the people for the California wildfires, which Donald Trump, refused to support. But I guess he only, sends federal support for natural disasters that happen in states that he likes. That's what we apparently elected as the president, someone who only cares about, about the states that he likes. And when people, his constituents are dying in other states, he doesn't care about them. So, but, that's not very surprising. But anyways, we'll have some conversation. If you super chat, I'll put them up on the screen like that. Have a lot of fun. If you guys would like to have a conversation, like I said, I'll open up those phone lines in just a minute. And we'll get this thing going. All right. You can't call in because he obviously sucks. All right. So this person says, I can't call in because he obviously sucks. Even though I've just repeated like 6 times that the phone lines have not been opened up yet. I've just repeated like 6 times that I have not opened up the phone lines yet. And he can't seem to figure that out. I don't even have my headset on yet. Looks like we might be in for a trip tonight, y'all. Looks like we might be a trip tonight. If I can't even say, like, I don't have the phone lines open yet and people are tripping out about me not answering the phone, I don't know what to tell you. All right, now I am opening up the phone line. So if you support Trump and you'd like to call in, now you can do that. Now you can call in. See, that's the way that works. Okay, you have to wait till I turn on the phone. If not, Rupert will come after you. Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. How old are you?
13.
Oh, sorry. You got to be at least 18 or older to call in. Hello, how are you? Hello? Goodbye. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, how old are you?
How are you?
I'm doing good.
I'm 36.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
I a little. I think I don't know. Like I think it's like on it's a teeter. It's on a fence thing, but a little. I think more so than I support the Democrat Party right now. Yeah.
Well, it's not a matter of supporting the Democratic Party. We're not in an election year. I'm asking you if right now you support Trump.
I support him right now just because he's the president, yes.
Well, that doesn't make any sense, sir. If Hitler was the president, would you support him? Charles Manson was the president, would you support him? If Mussolini was the president, would you support him?
I think it's a matter of fact of living in society and still being a human. You still have to kind of live in America, even though you don't support everything. You do support some things that are going on, but not everything.
Yeah, sir, but that's what I'm asking you, sir. So here's what I'm saying. I live in the United States. I'm an American. I love my country very much, and I can't stand what Trump is doing because he's not doing good things for America. So therefore, I don't support him. Okay? I can still love my country and not support what my president is doing, and that's what I'm asking you, sir.
I just don't think that Kamala Harris would be doing any better.
Well, again, sir, we're not in an election year, so I'm not asking you about Kamala Harris. I'm asking you if you support Trump right now. You guys already took the person who was better qualified and you didn't vote her in. Okay? We're already past that.
I'm asking get voted in, dude. She was elected by delegates. She didn't get voted in.
All presidential candidates are elected by delegates.
Yeah, but the way
every single one of them is elected by delegates.
Was the way that Kamala Harris got her nomination was way unorthodox.
Of course it was unorthodox, sir, because it's unorthodox for a president to drop out of the race that late. So obviously it's unorthodox. What did you expect them to do? For Joe Biden to drop out in like 3 months before the election and then hold an entire primary, which would have taken
He should
2
have
months?
dropped out way sooner.
Yes,
So
I
that they could
agree that
actually
he,
have a
sir, I
vote in.
agree that he should have dropped out a lot sooner, but he didn't. So by the time he dropped out, what did you want the Democrats to do? Did you want them to take a 2-month primary to try to find somebody to put in? That way we could have had a candidate a month prior to the general election? Is that what you wanted?
I think that Bernie Sanders could have done better than
Bernie Sanders could have stepped up and ran. It was an open convention, and anybody could have ran against her.
Yeah.
But he chose not
I
to.
know that's
Actually,
a pass, so
everyone.
we can.
No, we don't need to move
can move
anywhere,
forward
sir.
that
I'm
way.
good right here. Anybody could have run against her, sir. Nobody chose to. So saying that you chose a worse presidential candidate, okay, in Donald Trump, because you didn't like that nobody ran against Kamala Harris, with like that's somehow her fault. Okay, that she happened to be in a good position where she had a good like line of financing, right? Because she was on the Biden Harris ticket, and that nobody wanted to run against that. You are somehow saying that because she was in the right position, and let's be clear, that position was her being the vice president of the United States. It's not like she got thrown in there like she was off the streets, right? She was the vice president of the United States. She had the opportunity in an open convention to be the president. She had the most money to do it based off her being the vice president. And none of that was her fault on how she,
Joe Biden.
sir, but none of that was her fault on how she ended up the nominee, right? It was more Biden's fault on how she ended up the nominee than her. But saying that because she ended up in that position, you shouldn't vote for her, even though she's clearly the better candidate, doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like I, what I said is like I think that where we want to move forward is like I think that mistakes have been made for sure, and like now that they have this Epstein list that now has magically disappeared, like that pisses me off, and like like I feel like I have been, like I will admit I feel like I've been bamboozled in a way that where I've been. If I could go back in time, maybe I would make a different decision. But I think that like right now, we have to move forward and try to figure out how we can keep Trump from. I don't know what I don't think I'm like scared of him putting like citizens or like deporting them like how they're talking. But I feel like like our country can move in a direction that we are not, coming together. He may divide us more. That's my fear.
Of course he's going to divide us more, sir. He divided us the first time. That's why it was ridiculous to vote for him. But saying that you voted for the guy, okay, who's literally bragged about going in and seeing underage girls naked, all right, and bragging about how he gets to do it. A guy who bragged about being friends with Epstein and talked about how he liked them young. A guy who was literally on the Epstein flight logs multiple times. To say that you were bamboozled by that when the Epstein list all of a sudden disappears is crazy. Like, you knew exactly what his relationship with Epstein was. You knew exactly how close he was tied to Epstein. Did you really think that that he was going to release an Epstein list when he is obviously all over them?
The report that when he was kicked out of his club back in like early 2000s is like that's what I was holding on. I thought that was their relationship where they were like in complete like separation, and so that's what I thought is like, well, if that's the case and there's nothing from 2000 till when he was running as president, there's no type of where he's in a situation with a young an underage person, like that's why like I don't know, like it was more of weighing on the benefit of the doubt, like
they were literally recruiting girls for Epstein Island at Mar-a-Lago.
Back in the 90s, but they didn't know that it was under a beauty pageant thing, and I know what you're talking about.
Sir, Donald Trump said, I know Epstein likes them young.
Maxwell used, I understand. I've
Sir,
looked into it now.
to,
That's what I'm saying, dude. I've looked into it more now. I know more about it in the last month than I do before.
but shouldn't you
I
have
didn't
looked
know
into that,
that.
sir, before you voted for him? Because all of this information was readily available. Not only was it readily available, I was online talking about it, along with a whole bunch of creators that are much larger than I am. We're sitting there for over a year prior to Donald Trump getting elected. From the time that he opened up his candidacy, we were all here talking about how Donald Trump was all over the Epstein flight logs, all the proof he had of freaking, of being his coordinations with Epstein. Everybody was talking about it. Why did it take for you to wait until after you elected the literal freaking adjudicated sex offender for you to look into whether Donald Trump was this person?
Because I think there's like, if we would, point fingers at people that are in high positions of power that have done sexual offenses, it's not on just one side. And that's the sad thing, is like, it's hard to kind of like judge on who is someone that you want to like actually put your faith in, because Democrats and Republicans both have sexual offenders in high positions.
Awesome. Was Kamala Harris
like,
a sexual offender?
No.
But yet,
But
what? You just didn't like her because
the
what?
thing what
So you chose
my
the
biggest
guy
thing
who
was
you knew was a
experience.
sexual
My
offender
biggest thing was
over the
age.
person that wasn't.
My biggest thing was age and experience. I feel like she would have been just as much as Joe Biden controlled by the elite, more so than, I don't know. I just feel I think that was like kind of the thing, was like, I thought that Donald Trump wasn't bending the knee to elites like Kamala Harris was, or Kamala Harris was. So I get.
Well, now you're not
really
getting your
what it came
bending
down
to elites, as Donald Trump literally takes 17 million people off of healthcare, takes people off of SNAP benefits, doesn't release the Epstein list, creates bad foreign affairs, freaking makes up fake trade
Right.
deals, all of these things. Is this what you get? Like, hey, he's not bowing to the elites like you said, even though this, global cabal of elites that apparently exists, I've never seen any proof of. Right? Even though literally when you're talking about elites, Donald Trump is a billionaire, so he would be part of the elites. Not to mention that Donald Trump got more money from billionaires in his campaign than the Democrats did. Okay, so I don't know what, he literally came out to Big Oil and told them, hey, if you support my campaign, then I'll make sure that, I don't come after you guys with regulations, and I'll help support the oil industry if you donate to me. Literally a quid pro quo to the elites. Literally attached himself to Elon Musk, the richest man on the planet.
Oh, Elon Musk doesn't like that big bill that's going to take away his subsidies for his secondary power, or his renewable power. So he's not happy with that big bill, because it's going to.
He doesn't like it because he was hired to create government efficiency and to cut government spending, and the big beautiful bill does the opposite of that. But how are you going to say that he wasn't bending the knee to the elites when he literally had Elon Musk on stage with him dancing around the who would be considered the most elite of elite people?
Like, it may sound stupid, but really what I think it came down to is, I feel like the media was protecting Joe Biden more than Donald Trump, because they were like propping up Joe Biden like he didn't have some type of dementia, and then he did, and that's why he dropped out, and they were hiding it for so long. And that's why I lost trust in the power of the Democrats, because I feel like they were like trying to hide something.
Sir,
and
the Republicans hide Donald Trump's freaking failure to be a freaking leader every single day. Donald Trump literally sat in front of the Liberian president and was like, "Oh, sir, you speak so good English. Where did you learn it?" Not even knowing that the Liberia, the national language of Liberia, is English. He literally was with the UK Prime Minister holding a trade deal that he said he was making with the EU, even though the UK isn't even in the EU, dropped the folder, and blank papers fell out. Okay? Couldn't even pick them up themselves. They needed freaking Starmer, the UK president, to go and pick up the papers for him. But again, sir, regardless of what you felt about Joe Biden, he wasn't running against Joe Biden. He was running against a 60-year-old in great health person in Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
You
I'm
chose
telling
the
you.
dementia.
Yeah. I'll admit to you right now, dude. If I would go back, I probably would have I would, especially with all this new stuff coming out, and then especially with on the brink of war where we just dropped bombs in Iran, and now we're bending the knee to Netanyahu. Like, I do not like that. And that's what I mean. It's like, I definitely, I may, do you think Kamala Harris would actually tell Netanyahu, like, we'll not drop bombs in Iran? Do you think she would have said no?
1,000%, because every U.S. president has said no since 1992 when Netanyahu has been trying to get us to drop bombs on Iran. Donald Trump literally said while he was campaigning that he was going to open up the entire arsenal of weapons for Netanyahu, that he would give them whatever they wanted. He said that while he was running. Sir, everything that he's doing right now, Donald Trump told you he was going to do. This isn't like nothing. Like, I don't ever wake up in the morning and like see a news like thing or whatever, like a news notification, and go, oh my goodness, I can't believe that happened. Every single day I look at it, I go, yep, that vibes. That makes sense.
That's my fear right now, dude.
Your
Like I
fear is
said,
that
I'm
everything you
watching the
voted for
news.
is coming true?
Right.
Well, sir, if your fear is that everything you voted for is coming
Well,
true,
not the fear that it's coming true. It's fear that it's not going the way that I thought it would, because I felt like the way that we were going to try to focus on America first and not worry about so much things outside of America, and try to focus on helping the people that are here and not kicking people out that are trying to build up America and that kind of stuff. I'm an electrician, so I work in places where there's going to be people that are not licensed, or they don't have the right paper. So I have friends that have been deported, and that's the part that actually got me started, where I was just like, these guys are actually trying to come here and work, and they've been here. One of my buddies, he's been here for 4 years, and he had a license. He had a license to work in the state I was in. He had a electrical license, and then the next day I didn't see him, and I had to call. I called his girlfriend, because I had her number. She was a citizen, and he got deported. And I mean, he didn't have any kids, but they were trying to build a family. And that hurt me. That's, like I said, that was the part that kind of hurt me. That was like kind of a waking point for me. I was just like, I didn't like the direction it's going, because like it's.
sir, this is again all this stuff. This is all stuff he said he was going to do.
But I didn't think that he was going to deport like people that are actually here that had green cards. And
he said he was going to, sir.
But that's the thing that pissed me. I thought it was deporting people that were that came across like from multiple nations, like across the southern border.
Sir, he said he was going to have the largest mass deportation since the Mexican Repatriation Act, which saw freaking like 1 million U.S. citizens deported.
That's so stupid. That's what I mean, dude. That's what pisses me off. That's why I said I'm calling in just to let people know. I think that's ridiculous. I think if people are here trying to make a living and try to just be good, and do the right thing, like, why are we sending people back to a country that they don't want to go to?
No offense, sir. With all due respect, the reason why we're sending people back to countries they're not supposed to, sending people to freaking countries like Sudan where they're in a civil war. The reason why we're doing that is because Donald Trump is president. And this is what happens when you vote in somebody like Donald Trump. And this is exactly what you get. Like I said, America's getting exactly what it asked for. So when communities are disrupted, when people are being deported, when prices go up, when freaking we start trade wars, when we were bombing Iran, when we're doing all of these things, we're getting exactly what we voted for. This is our system, and this is what people voted for. This is what people wanted, this instead of the brown woman. And so this is.
I don't like to think it that way, because I think like most people aren't racist, man. Like, I don't know.
Well, sir, Donald Trump's only beaten 2 people, and it's only 2 women to ever run on a major ticket in the United States. Kamala Harris had literally nothing wrong with her except for the fact that she had popped out of nowhere because of what happened to Joe Biden. And that's not anything against her. That's on Joe Biden. She literally had all of the experience in the world. Okay. Literally a freaking law degree, an economics degree, worked as a district's attorney, a senator, a vice president, had all the experience, and literally helped Joe Biden pull us out of freaking the COVID economic disaster that we recovered faster than any other nation on the planet, any industrialized nation on the planet. She had all of the experience. Okay, all of it. But you guys didn't want her, so. You wanted this. You wanted mass deportations, which is what he ran on. You wanted, this is what you wanted. This is what you wanted.
I live in Utah.
So
it's I live in Utah. It's a culture thing, man. Like, what I'm saying is, like, I live around a bunch of people that I know. Like, I don't feel in my heart that they are racist, but I feel like we do. Like, what they feel more safe with, you know what I mean? Like, I don't. Utah has been red forever, and it's because, like, it's a very, very white society, I guess you could say. But it's still at the same time, I don't think it's. I have in my life. I grew up in Utah, and I've been all over the United States. I worked in the oil field. I have literally I could probably count on my one hand about the real racist people I've met, and I even worked in Louisiana and Mississippi. You know what I mean? Like, where I can count on my hand, like, this person is actually right. Like, they are disgusting. But then I met people, but it's just like there's bigotry, and that's the other thing too, is you have to decide on what's different between bigotry and racist. Bigotry is where they think that they know better than someone because they were raised different.
Well,
so
I'm just going to go ahead and say it. And I've been to Utah. Okay. Beautiful landscapes there, by the way. Very beautiful country. But I'll be honest with you. Okay. Utah was created for the Mormons. And let me be very clear that I'm not saying they don't exist. Okay. I'm not saying they don't exist. So I don't want to hear like, I know one. Like, I'm sure they exist. Okay. I've never met a black Mormon. And I'm sure they exist, but I've never met a black Mormon in my entire life, right? So, regardless of whether you're like intentionally racist or not,
they were
like
adopted and they are raised in a white family. Is usually why most of them.
Yeah, like again, I'm not saying that it's racist. What I'm saying is that people fear what they don't know, right?
Yeah.
And when you live in this is why normally you see that. People like that, the bigger the city, the more likely it is to be blue, right? Because people in cities are forced to cohort with people that are different than them, right? People of all different races, all different religions, all different sexual identities. Like it doesn't matter. You're forced to live around everybody, and so you
lose fear. You're not
afraid of anybody, right? You're not afraid of anybody, and no, the people don't scare you just for being who they are, or at least as much, right? But when you live in the middle of Utah around all white people, and then you see a black person that's about to be president, it's something that you don't know, right? And so when people are afraid of what they don't know, and it's just the truth of the matter,
but I don't think it. I don't think I understand a little bit. It comes down to maybe the color of the skin, but like you said, she has so many qualifications. She's not even like real. She's a mixed, like she's ethnic color, but she's not black.
She is black.
I mean, it's like no, I mean, like, but she's a mixed. So it's just like you gotta like, I don't know. It's
no. She's just black, sir. She's just black. She's just black.
I understand that. No, I accept that. I just think that it's like I don't think that's the only factor why people didn't vote for her. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I just think it was the major one because I'm sorry if you have
I didn't vote for her.
If you have an overqualified black woman on one side and a white guy who is literally an adjudicated sexual abuser who literally is a 34 times felon okay, who literally was already present and did nothing of value, okay, then I'm sorry that there's not much else to really talk about. Like, she had every qualification, okay, to be a great president.
Insane.
I don't know if she would have been a great president or not. I really don't have a clue. We'll never know. Okay. But
I think she'll run. If she runs, that's what I mean. Is I think she has a good chance if she runs in the next 4 years.
nope,
I think she has a good chance.
Nope,
because
she'll never
after
be president.
Donald Trump has done all this. No?
she'll never be president. Y'all had your chance. So it's all good. Anyways,
Well,
I'm gonna
what do
move
you-
on to
what
the
do you
next
think?
caller because we've been talking for like a while. We've been on the phone for like 30 minutes. So I'm just gonna move on to the next person. I try to keep them under 30 minutes. But
All right, dude.
anyways, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. All right.
All right, you too, brother.
All right. Bye. All right, we're about to reopen those phone lines. Keep this thing going, y'all. I've seen all the messages like, "Oh, the phone number doesn't work." The phone number doesn't work if I'm on the phone with somebody. This is not some freaking like multi-million-dollar production, okay? I'm only here based off the support of the people that are here, okay? That's all. All right. So if I'm on the phone don't ring. Just thought I'd let you know. Broly, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Said Trump supporters are Polly's biggest fan base. To be honest, true story, Broly. You should see it. It's pretty wild. But it's very true. Eric, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Said, let's go taco. Thank you so much. And Spencer, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Says, Penny, for your thoughts. If every war that the U.S. has ever been associated with, a man has put the U.S. into war. So one would think that if a woman were to get elected, one would assume that peace is coming, right? Well, I know what you can assume, Spencer, okay? Is that she can't put us into more war than men did. Okay? I'll tell you that right there, right? Like straight up. I don't know that she wouldn't have. I'm just saying there's no possibility she could have been worse than men. Nope, zero possibility. Thank you so much for the super chat though, Spencer. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Hello, caller. How are you? All right, goodbye. Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. How old are you?
I'm 22.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
A little bit. I'm starting to a little bit less, but you know.
All right. Why do you support Trump?
Well, I just wanted to put you on some game real quick. I just wanted to throw a conspiracy out at you and see what you thought.
No, I'm not interested.
No, really?
No, not at all.
Okay.
All right. Have a wonderful day.
Your thought on it.
Yep. Just not interested. Hello, how are you? Hello? Hello, how are you? Hello? Hello, how are you?
Pretty good.
Awesome.
I'm
How old are
23.
you? 23. Awesome. Do you support Trump?
I do.
Awesome. Why is that?
Mainly economic and geopolitical.
All right. Let's get a little more specific then. What's he doing that you appreciate economically?
Well, it's mostly because I definitely do not align with Democrats economically. I do not think, well, one, I think we're going to spend ourselves into an oblivion, and everyone's just pushing that way now. Yes, Republicans are not perfect on that as well, but still, it's way, way, way better on the Republican side, in my opinion.
Well,
I do not support the tariffs a whole lot, but that's kind of one only spot.
So let me get this straight, sir. You support Trump because of economic things when you're talking about the debt, that you voted for the president who in his first term added more national debt than any president in the history of the United States. By the time he left,
every president,
hold on, sir. I'm still speaking.
Go ahead.
Yeah, had more debt than any other president in the history of the United States, including up till now. Okay.
Yep.
And had added a third of the national debt by the time he had left office. And is currently just passed a bill to add $4 trillion more to the national debt.
Yes. So two things can be true. Well, so every president since Clinton added more to the debt. It's been escalating. And yes, Trump was technically more than Biden, but it's only by a hair. That's because of a lot of the COVID spending was distributed during Trump, but Biden only accelerated that. There wasn't necessarily to do any more. There wasn't a necessity. And
It was
Biden kept
double.
pressing it, and that really, really, really led to inflation.
It was
That was
double.
the main one. So, I'm
sir,
surprised you are using.
It was
Can I
double.
finish my point real
I
quick?
know, but that was a bold-faced lie, and I need to stop that. It wasn't by a hair. Donald Trump added $8.4 trillion to the national debt. Biden added 4.6.
No.
Yes,
No.
yes.
Okay, look that up real quick.
I can not
there's no
only
way
look it
that's
up, but I can put it on the screen.
true. Okay, please do.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the money was pushed out through it. The issue is Biden kept pumping more and more and more.
Yep. And
They
now it's on the
did-
scring. Non-COVID spending for Trump, 4.8 trillion. CARES Act, another COVID relief, 3.6 trillion for a total of 4.6 trillion. Or sorry, 8.4 trillion. Joe Biden, COVID debt, 2.2 trillion. American Rescue, non-COVID debt, sorry, 2.2 trillion. American Rescue Plan, 2.1 trillion for a total of 4.3 trillion.
Okay,
Yeah.
I don't know.
And let's be very clear. It was Donald Trump's spending that was the cause of inflation. And if you don't believe me, you can actually ask the Republicans, actual real Republicans, because if you do remember that when Donald Trump was running in the primary, he was running on against Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis, who both in their debate said that the reason why we're about to go into like huge inflation is because of the overspending, and that overspending was because of Trump.
It was because of both. I mean, Democrats didn't do anything to ramp it down. Yes, okay, Trump did more. Democrats clearly did not jump on the opportunity to help fight inflation, considering it hit record. Yeah, you could say, oh, you know, a lot of the spending was due to Trump, and sure, we can blame Trump. Let's say that inflation was primarily due to Trump. Democrats did not do anything to remedy that. Not one bit. They didn't raise taxes. They didn't lower spending. Yeah, okay, they spent less than Trump. Sure, let's just say that's true. They didn't cut spending at all. They just let it keep going on. And that did not help inflation one bit.
Well, yes, sir, because they didn't have much of a choice but to continue spending.
They didn't have a choice. They didn't have a choice to raise taxes.
They didn't have a choice to raise taxes. No, we do a tax
They
bill.
didn't have a choice to raise taxes.
No, we
No,
literally
they didn't have a Democrat controlled.
Sir, are you going to let me say? Are you going to let me say words? Because I can.
Continue.
Because you don't have to keep repeating the same question. I can just explain it after the first time.
Continue.
Awesome. Thank you. No, we do a tax bill every 8 years, and Donald Trump, the last tax bill was the TCJA 8 years ago under Trump, and that tax bill expires this year, and that is when Trump is redoing the tax bill. So no, there was no ability to change the tax plan under the Biden administration. In order for Democrats to change the tax plan, it would have had to have been electing Democrats in this term, but instead you literally voted back in Trump to give more corporate tax cuts and to still spend more. So no,
Okay,
they couldn't
Can I speak
have.
now? Can I go? Or is it still your turn?
You asked me a question, sir.
Okay, I'm just making sure. I don't want to
You
talk
said
over you. It's your show.
said the Democrats couldn't have done a tax plan. No, they could not have.
All right. So now can I ask you this? Were the Democrats in control of Congress and the Senate during the first part before the midterms in President Biden's first term? Yes
For
or
like
no?
a few months, yeah, I think like 6 months or
A
so.
few months? Really a few months. It was a couple years. You have midterms in the middle of the
Pretty sure that's right. I think
year.
it was
You
up
have a
until a
presidential
special
election every
election.
4 years, and then you have the midterms. So they had 2 full years of Democratic controlled
No.
Congress and Senate. Could they have lowered spending during that time frame? Sure. Let's just say, I don't know the specifics. Maybe you can only lower taxes raise taxes every 8 years.
It's
Could they or could they
insane.
not have cut spending during that time frame? Yes, they could have. Surprise, surprise.
So let me get this
They
straight,
could've-
sir. Hold on. Let me get this straight. Donald
Yeah.
Trump added all the spending.
Oh, now
Oh,
it's
no.
Trump's fault.
Now I'm talking.
Go.
Donald Trump added all the spending. Okay?
Yep.
Right? Cool.
Yep.
Joe Biden didn't cut the spending because they didn't have a 60 vote majority, which is what you need.
No.
I'm still talking.
No. Okay.
A 60 vote majority, which is what you need outside of specific appropriations bills or things like that. So it didn't have the ability to stop the cutting or to stop the spending because that's not how the Senate works. Because you would need 60 votes,
Okay.
and then you vote back in the guy who created all the spending before, because
Okay.
Joe Biden wasn't able to cut the spending because he didn't have the ability to. Okay, just making sure.
So in the big beautiful bill, did they cut healthcare?
Yes.
Oh, so they cut spending? I thought they couldn't
No.
do that. They don't have 60 vote majority in the
They
Senate.
didn't cut spending.
They can't cut spending.
They didn't
They
cut
can't
spending
cut spending. They couldn't have cut spending. That's impossible.
because it's an
Right?
appropriations
Because
and tax.
you just said they don't have a 60 vote
Because
majority.
it's a tax
so they can't
bill,
cut
sir.
spending.
I just said
Oh,
that.
now you're talking over me?
No, because I just answered your question and then you went ahead and said it anyway. The whole
All
reason
right,
why,
what's the answer?
sir, how old did you say you were?
I'm 23 years old. Are you going to say
You're
I sound
23
like
years
I'm
old?
14?
I'm going to
Yep.
say you're acting like you are. Do you know what a
And you're
reconciliation
acting
is?
apparently like you're a political debater and you don't understand.
Do
that
you know
just
what a
said you need
reconciliation is,
60 vote
sir?
majority in the Senate to cut spending, but then you're sitting here saying that the Republicans just cut spending and they don't have a 60 vote majority.
All right, awesome. Do you know what a reconciliation bill is? I'll put it in-
Yes, it's where it goes from the Senate to the House because they don't pass the exact same bill. That's my understanding.
Wrong.
Okay.
Okay.
Explain it to me.
And I'll put it up on the screen so everybody can read it. Okay. A reconciliation bill is a type of legislation in the U.S. Congress that uses a special budgetary process to expedite the passage of tax and spending changes, right?
Okay.
So specifically for taxes, which again, I already stated to you, sir, that the Biden administration didn't have the ability to pass a tax bill because we were still under Trump's tax bill.
I'm not
Okay.
talking about tax bills.
Sir, I didn't ask what you're talking about. I'm speaking.
Okay, go ahead.
Awesome. So because this bill right here that just cut spending in tech in healthcare, even though it actually adds spending in the long run, is a tax bill,
Yeah.
they only need 50 people to pass it. But a spending change to the current tax bill would have required 60. See, you're up here talking about a political debater and how I don't know politics, but you don't understand when you need 50 votes and when you need 60 votes.
Sure, maybe I don't. Okay, you want to change the topic very slightly. We're still
I don't
going
need
to
to
talk
talk.
economics.
I don't need to change the topic at all. I'm very happy exactly where I'm
Okay.
at.
Do you think healthcare coverage is more needed in America or less? Do you
More,
think there
of
should be
course.
more spending or less?
Well, hold
You
on,
think
hold
there
on, hold
should
on,
be
hold
more?
on, hold on, hold on. Those are two different questions.
Okay.
You said,
Answer
do I
them
think
however
that
you
there
want.
should be that you said should there be more healthcare coverage in the United States? Absolutely.
Yes.
Should there be more spending? No.
Okay, you want to cut. Okay, explain to me how that works with healthcare.
Explain to me
Should
how,
we
how
spend
what
more
works.
on healthcare in the United States?
Should we spend more on healthcare in the United States? Well, I mean,
Yes.
who spends more? Because for the same
Should
price as
there
what we
be-
are, because at the same price for what we already give within healthcare in the United States to insurance companies to back to between
Here.
Medicaid, Medicare, what we already give on insurance companies and what we already use to back up all the people that don't have health insurance, we could have universal healthcare in this country and it wouldn't even cost us anymore.
So you want to transition into universal healthcare?
We could literally transition to universal healthcare without spending more money. So yes, we would get more healthcare without spending more money.
Maybe. Well, you certainly could, but it probably wouldn't be very good.
Sure, our system already isn't good, and it's incredibly expensive.
That's
We pay for
Well, it
freaking.
depends on what you're going for. If
No.
you want cancer treatment, people flying for cancer treatment. Cancer treatment.
Yeah,
the real issue is the U.S. subsidizes.
Sir. Though it is less than freaking a few hundred people a year actually fly in the United States for healthcare from very, very, very poor countries. When you actually look at places like Europe who have subsidized or single payer healthcare, you do not have this mass immigration of people coming here for for cancer treatment. They have plenty of cancer treatment on their own, and I know I've lived there and
So
spoken
do you
with
think-
specialists there.
Do you think medication cost is too high in the United States?
Of course it is.
generally. Do you know how much of the drugs created in the United States worldwide, just new drugs, roughly?
Probably a whole bunch.
It's about 60%. Generally,
I believe that.
60% of the world's drugs are invented. New drugs are invented in the United States. There's actually a few good ones in Europe recently, but most of them, like Ozempic, is I'm pretty sure European. But generally, drugs are made in the U.S. Fun fact: the reason why drug prices are so high in the U.S. is we give drug companies monopolies to develop drugs in the United States. That is why we pay generally such high price for drugs in the United States.
But here's the problem with that. The majority of drugs aren't made by those companies.
they're developed and then they ship them and make them in China.
No,
or
the
something like
majority
that.
of drug invention in this country, the actual research and all sorts of stuff like that, is actually done by universities through government grants. Those same government grants that I'm not asking your opinion. The same government grants that
false.
Donald Trump is cutting from and threatening to cut from schools like Harvard, from Columbia, and stuff like that. The literal same grants, research grants that they're using in their hospital programs, those are where we invent the majority of our drugs. It's not from drug manufacturers.
So you're telling me, like, just being honest, like, you are telling me that the hundreds of billions of dollars or $100 billion market cap companies are not the one developing drugs. It's the universities, and the universities are making absolutely no money off of them. That's what you're saying.
I didn't say, sir, you're using a steel man, okay? You understand what that is?
Roughly. I'm not a professional debater.
Neither am I, okay? Literally what I
You do
said,
a good job, by the way.
I said the majority of drugs are invented in these colleges. I didn't say that there are 0 drugs invented by drug manufacturers, and I didn't say 100% of the drugs are invented by schools. I didn't say that. Okay. I said the majority of them are from colleges. Is there a certain percentage that is used, like is done by drug manufacturers? Yes, there is. But those drug manufacturers are also, making end over end money, and they could do that for a much less of a cost. And I'm not also saying that for the cost that we pay for drugs in this country, we could reduce that bill by freaking probably 90%, and still every single company would still be able to do research.
Well, they can do research, but they won't, because they don't make any money anymore. And
Yeah,
60% of the new drugs developed in the world, can I finish? 60% of the new drugs that come out, Ozempic, all the great life-saving ones, a lot of cancer research is actually not private. It's actually privately funded instead of publicly. But most of the drugs, literally, I mean, you can say whatever you want. 60% of the drugs are made in the U.S., and most of them, I'm telling you, you can believe whatever you want. Most of them are developed by private companies.
No, they're not.
Every innovation, every innovation in the entire United States, iPhones, computers, go from TSM and all these huge companies are what's developing the technology we use every day. And drug companies, believe it or not, are the ones. Now, I'm not saying there isn't great research done by universities. Absolutely, that's 100% true. They definitely provide more, funding, and they help. But I'm telling you, 100%, the U.S. government is purposefully, whether it's right or wrong, they are giving monopolies to the drug companies to develop. That's how our system works. That's why the drugs are so expensive here, and you can get the same drug in Europe for nothing, because
All right,
we
sir.
sell it cheaper over there.
Regardless of any of that, sir, it's ridiculous. Before
you don't know it, so you're pretending it's not.
No,
real.
I'm just ignoring you because you're just mouthing off and saying a whole word salad full of nothingness, and you cut me off to say
I'm
nothing.
telling you why drug prices are high in the United States. No one acknowledges this.
Okay,
it's the reality. It's true. That's general.
Are you going to let me speak at any point in time?
What?
Are you going to let me speak at any point in time?
You can go ahead and speak. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you so much, sweetheart. I appreciate that. Okay. Regardless of any of that, we still had plenty of drug research that happens in other countries where they have single payer healthcare. Okay. And we show
30%.
that, sir, I am still talking. Okay. If you can't have a conversation like an adult and you want to act like a child, then I'll just hang up on you and find an adult that can come speak with me. Okay.
Go ahead.
Perfect. Okay. We still have plenty of drug manufacturing and single payer healthcare systems. And when you actually look at the research budgets when it's coming from these drug companies, it's actually a very, very small percentage of their budget. So cutting the actual drug cost down by freaking a huge percentage would not stop their research budgets whatsoever. Plus, with the same money that we already pay to insurance companies and what we'd actually use for single payer healthcare, we could still subsidize all of those drug companies into their research and development, and we can still do all of that, still make it free healthcare or generally free healthcare for all Americans, and still pay less money.
Am I allowed to speak?
All right, sir. Well,
Yep.
I'm just gonna go get an adult then, okay?
I said, am I allowed to speak? I'm just asking if it's my turn.
I'm just tired of you acting like a child. And since I want to talk to an adult here, I'll just move on to somebody else because this is childish how you're acting. Okay.
I'm just trying to make sure if it's my turn or your turn.
No,
speak,
every
'cause
single
I don't wanna
time
speak
I
over you.
speak, you try to speak over me, and every single time I get a word in, as soon as I stop, you're like, "Can I speak now?" Like a child. Okay. I am a
I just
grown
wanna
ass
make sure I'm
man
not
and I
speaking
do
over
not
you.
I am a grown ass man and I do not have time for these childish fucking games. Okay? This is your last chance to act like an adult or I will just hang up the phone without a warning.
Okay. So I'm just going to start speaking since I assume it's my turn. There is definitely drug development by companies. If you remove the incentive,
I didn't say there wasn't.
What?
I didn't say there wasn't. I have never once said that there was not drug development by these companies.
Okay. This is my point. My point is once you remove the incentive for drug companies to make vast amounts of money, that is going to lead to less development. Now, I am not making the argument that we should have $200 freaking shots for people to stay alive that can't afford them. I'm not making that argument. What I am saying is the reason there is so much drug development in the United States, we own, like I said, we make about 60% of it, is because we have a vast incentive. Yeah, you're saying, okay, they may still pour money into drug development, but it's probably not going to happen because you remove the financial incentive. That's just what I guess I'm not getting with your argument is you just kind of assume that, oh, things are going to continue like normal once we just strip the whole system away. Yeah, I mean, they're going to spend, $5 billion on a drug that might, save a bunch of people's lives, but they could spend that $5 billion and just light it on fire because that's how drug development is. But
I literally already
just think they're gonna
addressed
keep doing
every
that?
single point that you just made. I literally have already addressed in detail exactly how we could go to single payer healthcare, reduce drug costs, and have these companies still be able to research. I literally addressed every single part of that and how it would still make it cheaper in the United States. I literally addressed every single point of what you just said because everything you just said, you repeated from what you said earlier. Okay? And I already responded to all of this. This is an exact repeat of exactly what you said before, and I already responded to every single part of it.
The part you are missing and not responding to is you are claiming there's going to be an incentive, the strong incentive to keep developing. You're just like, oh, we'll just keep pouring more government money. We can give, I think I heard you say you're going to give more grants to the companies, right? You're going to give grants for research to those companies.
We already do. We already subsidize these countries with our tax dollars.
In specific circumstances, we do, but you're not claiming the vast majority of research by public companies traded on the NASDAQ is by government funding. Is that what you're claiming?
Let me be very clear. Okay, maybe I can make this a little more simple for you. One of these Fortune 500 companies that is trading on the market, what is their main goal?
To make more money.
Awesome. The U.S. government, what is their main goal?
What do you mean?
Any government,
the citizens?
There you go. To protect the citizens, to help its constituents. That's their job.
Yes.
I want the people that are researching stuff to be doing it because with the money that they need to, not to make a bottom dollar at the end of it, because they're going to do that regardless because drugs are freaking huge in this country regardless. But if we give them the money to research, they're going to still make that same bottom dollar and they're going to continue to research because if they research and they create a drug, then that drug is then able to be sold and then the selling of that drug creates more money. That is why freaking technology exists. That's why we subsidize exactly within those spots, okay? But saying that for some reason we need to keep it as a public entity, even though, again, like you're saying 60% of the world's drugs come from this, when we still have 40% of the world's drugs coming from mostly Europe and stuff like that, and they have the exact same system with less of a GDP, it shows right there that it is not a necessity to keep it as a publicly traded company or to charge these ridiculous prices within drugs or to stop from having a single payer healthcare system in order to actually do this.
Well, can I ask you a question real quick? Why do you think do you agree the United States is the most powerful country in the world?
Yes.
Why do you think that is?
There's lots of reasons why that is.
Just name a few, like the top two.
I'm not interested. Get to your point.
Okay. My point is the reason the United States is the most powerful country in the history of the world is primarily because they're the most capitalist country in the history of the world. And that is an irrefutable fact. Everywhere you look in the world,
it's easily refutable.
Adopts communism, adopts socialism, they are unsuccessful.
There's literally never been a true socialist or communist country on the planet. So therefore, that is a completely moot point.
Guys, he just did the meme. You just did the meme, dude. You did.
I'm
You-
sorry,
you
I
did
don't
the meme.
speak child, so I don't know what the meme is.
The meme is whenever someone is a leftist and they believe, are you a socialist? Would you consider yourself a socialist?
No.
Just curious. You would not. Okay. But you're claiming.
But I do understand
there's
what
no
socialism is because I've read a book.
Okay. What would you say your ideology is?
Why
Just
does
general
that
left.
matter to you not knowing what socialism is?
Because you're claiming that if we take all the public companies and privatize them and just
I'm not
government fund them,
advocating for socialism. You're saying that the reason why we're so freaking powerful is because of capitalism, when literally
Yeah.
against socialism, when socialism has not existed and neither has communism within the world in its truest form. So you have nothing to compare that to. You can't say,
Well,
it works so much better against communism when communism hasn't existed. That was my only point. My point was not arguing whether socialism is better or whether communism is better or whether capitalism is better. I was just completely saying that you're saying, oh, compare it to communist countries, and there hasn't been one to compare it to.
Okay, let me phrase it like this then. The United States is the most capitalist country in the history of the world. This is true. We are also the wealthiest, most powerful country in the history of the world. The West is the most rich place in the history of the world. They have adopted capitalism. China developed in the 80s. They went from literally incredibly poor to by the world standards, pretty wealthy because they started adapting some capitalist principles. Capitalism and the free market is the best way to innovate most things. Now, you can't do everything. I don't think there should be private militaries. That's ridiculous. I think there should be roads, obviously, things like that. But generally, for most circumstances, capitalism and the free market is historically, irrefutably the best way to develop a nation and to build wealth and prosperity for people. And the United States is the best example of that.
So, sir,
That is
that's easily refutable. It's not even difficult to refute. You can say,
Go ahead.
Sir, by the way, if you have to claim that your argument is irrefutable, just to let you know, it's already a bad sign. Because if it was really an irrefutable argument, you wouldn't have to call it irrefutable. You could just say the argument, and then I wouldn't have a comeback for it. Okay,
All right,
but
either.
literally, the reason why the United States got so powerful is literally through industrialization after World War II, and due to our ability to create the strongest military on the planet, and through extreme industrialization, which we gave up, about 30 years ago. But that is how we became the biggest economy in the world, not through capitalism, because that wouldn't make any sense. Because literally, as long as we've been a capitalist nation, so has about 30 other fucking countries, at least, on the planet that have been major contributors to all sorts of things. We're the largest population with the biggest military, and we had the largest industrialization after World War II. That is how we became the most powerful country in the world. We still continue to be the most powerful country in the world because of things like innovation, especially within technology, and multiple other markets, especially as being the larger consumer nation. And when we can literally shut off the economy of probably 100 different countries on the planet just by stopping buying their stuff, is exactly how we continue to be the most powerful nation on the world. But saying that it's irrefutable just because of capitalism, dude, there's 120 fucking capitalist countries on the planet, some of which have been capitalist nations longer than we have. It's not that is not the reason why.
You're saying we got rich through innovation, like technological innovation. All that is literally capitalism. Now, I'm not saying pure capitalism, but it is capitalism. And you said, yeah, there's 30 other nations that did it. They're also the other wealthy nations. They're France, they're Spain, they're Italy, they're Germany. Actually, that's probably a bad example. They were fascist for a while, and their economy is horrible. They have a 30% unemployment rate because they're not very capitalist. Literally,
who's not
you
very
can literally
capitalist?
Look at it. What?
Who's not very capitalist?
Spain, they were under a dictatorship till fairly recently.
You can be a capitalist dictatorship.
You can be, but they were not.
Yeah. Anyways,
Spain was not.
Sir, when I talked about the innovation,
when
I talked about the innovation of technology, I'm talking about the last 30 years, and we were already the strongest nation on the planet. Before 30 years ago, we've been the strongest nation on the planet since, again, the end of World War II, before we were that technological giant. So it doesn't matter.
Well, we were strong. We're still the most capitalist nation there. And we were a very strong nation after World War II, but we really skyrocketed, basically because the rest of the Western world just blew itself up. And we really didn't get blown up. But we're also, like I said, point being, all the other capitalist nations are the ones that you can point to as successful. And all the ones that aren't are the ones that are not that wealthy. That's the reality.
France is pretty much fucking broke, and I can probably name about another 20 capitalist countries that have just failed miserably. And actually, when you talk about countries that are, when you actually are talking about countries that are more socialist, you can actually look at them and they're actually incredibly successful, right? We talk about Finland, we talk about Norway, right? Incredibly successful. They're not socialist countries. There are no true socialist countries, like I spoke of before, but you talk about more socialist and less capitalist countries like Norway, countries like Sweden. Those countries are much more like that. Canada is actually very successful based off their socialist economy. They just don't have the people and the space like we do, or the military in order to do that. And when you talk about China growing because of capitalism, if you really want to look at it, they grew through capitalism, but they grew through capitalism that had strong social safety nets underneath it, right? They still had things like housing and food assistance. This is why their median household income is still much lower than ours, because they don't need that much money to live. And that's how they were able to actually catch up to us and beat us on industrialization, which actually created a larger capitalist society within China by using small socialist parts of the spectrum in order to create them. So actually, if you look at the actual countries that actually are the most successful, it's countries that are still capitalist, but actually have strong social safety nets and use strong parts of socialists underneath that capitalism. And that mesh of both of them together is actually what creates the stronger countries.
Sure. You brought up the Scandinavian countries. So I do see what you're saying with stronger social nets with some capitalism in it. But yeah, I would definitely not call the Scandinavian countries socialist. I think that is that's misinputting what those countries actually are. And they,
Sir,
if you ever go to like a Swede, someone in the government, if you go and say, oh, you're Swedish socialist, they would be like, no. They don't consider themselves socialists. And you pointed to Canada as well. And I would just like to point out, if you look up, I know you probably won't pull it up, but I know you have the ability to pull up things. If you look up the Canadian versus U.S. GDP marker, and you go back to right around the 2007 financial crisis, we have absolutely dog-walked them. I'm sure you've heard it many times. Of course,
I already discussed that, sir. I said it when I said Canada. But regardless of any of that, that was not the point of it. You said the countries that are the most capitalist, which means the least socialist or communist, are the most successful. And I'm showing you countries that actually mesh both of them together are the most successful. But regardless of any of that, I'm going to move on to the next caller because, again, you're not listening to anything that I'm saying. But hope you have a wonderful day.
Minutes, so it's 30 minutes. So U.S. is absolutely dog.
All right, cool. We're going to keep moving on to the next caller. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much for being here. It's just repeating the same things over and over. It's very confusing. Abram, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. I really appreciate that. Said, you're a zesty burger and Trump is better than Harris. Well, thank you for calling me zesty. That doesn't bother me at all. And Trump is better than Harris is a crazy thought that just says you're not that bright, but that's okay. We're going to move on. Thank you so much. And Spencer, thank you so much for the $20 super chat again. Thank you so much. WZ chat for Spencer. So I sent this to Dean Withers earlier. When MAGA brings up the economy, I wonder if they know that billionaires can claim a $30K income while at the same time owning a company worth $100 billion. That should infuriate all. Well, you know what? According to that last guy, it's stuff like this that's what makes America the best country on the planet. Because capitalism. Woohoo! Yeah, billionaires getting money. Thank you so much, Spencer. Big W's in chat for Spencer. I really appreciate that. Thank you guys so much. All right, we're going to move on to the next caller. Keep that going. I really appreciate that. Y'all, if you'd like support, again, I do have super chats open. So if you guys say I put it up on the screen, we talk about it. We have a good time with it. I really appreciate y'all. If you guys are on the TikTok side, help me catch Ari. Also, let me get some crabs too. One time I'll say, let me get crabs, okay? And Queen V, thank you so much for the gifted sub from earlier. I really appreciate that too. Sorry, I didn't want to miss that. Thank you so much. Hello, how are you?
All right.
Awesome. How old are you? I'm doing good. How old are you?
Yes, I am 36.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
Yes.
Awesome. Why is that?
Well, before all that, I supported Democrats.
That's not what I asked you, sir. I asked you why you support Trump.
Why I support him? And it's because the Democrats have lost all their shit.
Sir, I'm not asking you about the Democrats. Donald Trump is currently the president of the United States. The Democrats don't own the presidency. They don't own the House of Representatives. They do not own the Senate. They sure as hell don't own the Supreme Court. Okay. They don't have any cabinet members in there whatsoever. All of the ambassadors, everybody, they're all Republicans and Trump cronies. So I'm not asking you about the Democrats because the Democrats aren't doing shit right now. I'm asking you why you support Trump.
Well, because he revived me for believing in politics.
Gotcha. So how do you feel about the 17 million people that are about to lose healthcare thanks to Donald Trump?
Well, we don't know what that's going to be like in the next few months.
No, we won't.
I mean, it's more Democrat fear-mongering.
It's more Democrat fear mongering.
Mm-hmm.
How is that Democrat fear mongering?
Well, if you look at it, because every Democrat has talked about it. Of course, none of the Republicans have talked about it either.
Yeah, why would the Republicans talk about something that's bad for them?
I know.
Yeah,
But
that doesn't
I
make
really
it not
wanna talk to
true,
you
sir.
about- and also the immigration. That's mostly I want to talk to you about.
Okay. What about immigration?
Well, Trump has done better with immigration than Biden did.
I disagree.
Why is that?
Because better is subjective.
Better is subjective.
Better is subjective, yes. And the cool thing about it is Americans disagree with me. The Americans actually agree with me. If you actually look at the new Gallup poll that just came out talking about immigration, it's crazy how Americans have turned on Trump when it came to immigration. It's pretty impressive.
But that's pretty much what everybody voted for.
Yeah, they didn't vote for this. They might have voted. They might have voted for immigration in some sort, but they sure as hell didn't vote for what Donald Trump is doing.
Well, there was always going to be resistance.
There's always. What does that even mean?
Well, what was happening in California.
Sir, I'm not talking about like resistance in California. I'm talking about resistance across the entire United States. If you look at the new Gallup poll, which I know you can't see, but I'll go ahead and put it on the screen for everybody else, right? Americans' preferred rate of immigration in the United States as a trend total. And if you look at 2024, okay, they wanted it decreased, all right? But now it's looking at people, a higher percentage of people want it to stay the same. And it's actually going up on how many people want immigration to increase. And actually, if you, in this one, you can actually take it says Republicans right here, but you can actually take it by sector. And you can see how right here Republicans wanted it to decrease, and now that number has dropped to almost 49%, while the people that wanted to increase has increased from 4% to 36%. So even Republicans want immigration to stay the same or increase at a higher rate. And when you go to independents, that number is even more drastic. And then of course when you go to Democrats, it's even more drastic, right? So when you're looking at the actual polls of what people would like immigration to decrease, increase, or stay the same, the people that wanted to decrease is significantly falling, while the people that wanted to increase is rising heavily, or stay the same is heavily.
How long Trump's been in office now?
About 6 months.
About 6 months. And so, what if that changes over that?
And what if the flying spaghetti monster comes down from his giant bowl of marinara in the sky to relieve us all from all of this hell?
I mean, it's all right now. It's a speculation. I mean, yeah, it could get worse, or it could get better.
Yeah, sir. I'm not talking about whether it could get worse or it could get better. Donald Trump is currently trying to get rid of birthright citizenship. He literally is trying to deport people that are out here on temporary legal status. It's just getting worse. It's not getting any better.
Well, people were trying to cross the border with pregnancies, and women like that, so they can have children. To stay
I don't
in this
care.
country.
At one point in all of our history, there was a woman who crossed a border from another country as an immigrant and then came here and had a baby. And that's how we have most Americans right now. So.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I can name one pretty prominent one.
My grandmother was an immigrant, so.
Yeah. I can name one pretty prominent immigrant that came across here and had a baby. You know who that is?
I'm pretty sure there's a few.
Yeah, I was thinking of Melania Trump.
That's true, but did she come here legal or illegal?
She was a mail order bride. I'm pretty sure that's illegal everywhere.
That's not really illegal. There are people that do that.
Yeah. Well, anyways, so you ready to deport Barron since he's an anchor baby?
Well, he's a legal citizen.
Doesn't who cares?
His mom-
So are all the people that were born in the United States, but Donald Trump is trying to get rid of birthright citizenship. So therefore, Barron Trump is an anchor baby. We should deport him too.
But still, his mom was a legal citizen versus an illegal citizen.
I'm pretty sure she came over here illegally too.
I doubt that.
I'm almost positive of that.
He could afford it.
He can afford what?
What do you think? For her to get
A
over
mail
here,
order bride?
Yeah.
I don't know. Regardless of what she came over here for, he's still an anchor baby. She had a kid on American soil, even though she wasn't an American citizen. Therefore, that kid became an American citizen, and so therefore, it's an anchor baby. Get rid of him.
I don't.
All right.
But still, the border is still a lot better way off of Trump than it was Biden.
Again, better is subjective, sir. I don't think that not allowing people like asylum seekers to come into this country to be able to freaking, if they have a credible fear for their life, not allowing them to come here is a good thing. I don't think that's a good thing at all. But regardless, this conversation is going like literally slower than molasses, and it's going to put me to sleep. So I'm going to move on to the next caller, but I do appreciate you.
Have a good day.
You too. That's the slowest conversation I think I've ever been a part of. Tara, good night, Tara. Tara, thank you so much for the $50 on Venmos. Thank you. That's all. Y'all, huge W's in the chat for Tara for the huge $50 on Venmo. Thank you so much for that. Big W's in the chat for that. Thank you so much, Tara. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. I want to make sure I got that W in for her before she went to sleep tonight. So thank you guys so much. I really, really appreciate that. I also always forget to log in over here, so I got to do that real quick. Zachary, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. It said you would have been a dope history teacher. Enjoy your day. Time's not over. Time's not over. I have considered teaching. I thought you said you were going. I thought you were leaving. I thought that's what you said. I thought you said good night. I thought you said good night. You literally said night right here. You said night. I thought you were going. You said night. I thought. You said night. That's what I thought you meant. But Zachary, I actually have really thought of going and teaching college. I've thought about it. I wouldn't teach lower than college. I don't think I could handle the kids. I don't think I could, but yeah, we'll see. And Christopher, thank you so much for the $15 PayPal. I really appreciate that. Says this caller stinks. Well, he's gone now. He's gone now. So, we can keep this thing going. Y'all, if you guys are on the YouTube side, I really appreciate you guys. If you guys can hit that like button and that subscribe button, we do this every day but Thursday. So I really, really appreciate you guys. And of course, as you guys are seeing, if you guys would like support, I do have the super chats open. I put them on the screen. I talk about them. We have a great time. If you guys are on the TikTok side, and you guys would like support, again, I do have my pay links open. Like you just seen, they're all in my link tree in my bio. And I do have the little crab gift goals. We're almost halfway there on those. I really appreciate that also. And still trying to catch Ari. I don't know what else to do. Maybe I got to start dancing or something for subs. Is that what I need to do? I'll start dancing for subs or something. Like I don't know. I don't know what I need to do. Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing excellent. Do you support Trump?
Absolutely.
Awesome. How old are you?
I'm 23.
Awesome. Why do you support Trump? Oh, sorry. Hold on real quick. I apologize. John, thank you so much for the Cash App also. For a nice cold one, all the love. Thank you so much, John. Sorry I missed that earlier. I apologize. John, thank you so much for the Cash App. I really appreciate that. Sorry. Why do you support Trump?
Because he's a strong leader. And he doesn't take bullshit from other countries. That's kind of how a leader should act, right? We shouldn't be a globalist. Like, we shouldn't be helping out every single other country. We should focus on ourselves because the world needs a strong America. For the land of the free, home of the brave. And I think he kind of embodies that, honestly.
He literally was just on TV talking about how we're going to give more weapons to Ukraine like yesterday.
I mean, of course, right? We
literally got
I'm
into
not gonna lie, like,
we got into a whole war with like literally where we were attacking Iran. We're bombing Somalia. Literally, what happened to 90 deals in 90 days? Like, going to be such a strong leader. He's already pushed that twice. Like, got folded on all of those things. He got laughed off the UN Council floor. He got laughed at by multiple world leaders. How exactly is he strong again? Sorry, what exactly has he done for that?
We just have the first surplus in our government in over 30 years.
The surplus of what?
Of finances. This is the first month that had a surplus in 30 years.
Surplus of what? Of finances? That's not a real thing. What are you talking about?
I'm saying that the government took in money. We didn't have a deficit in our
That is.
We did not have a trade deficit.
That's a complete lie.
Not.
Okay, sir. Can you back that with any piece of? How about this? If you can even pull me a bad source that says that, I'll take it.
You know what?
I haven't even heard that from the most Republican biased right wing fucking nut job fucking, like, not even they've said that. Fox News hasn't even said that.
Just came out today.
From who?
I mean, it's on Fox. I think it's on New York Times or New York Post.
New York Post makes sense because they're a tabloid.
But you know what? We just got to stop having suicidal empathy. I think that's the real reason that I called is I just listened to all your arguments, and it's like
I don't really care about any of this thing. Can you please tell me where you found this surplus thing? Because I would love to just take a look at that.
Just look it up. I mean, you'll find it because it got.
It's
like I said, it came out today.
Okay. You know what, guys? I'll bite. Why not? Let's see. Let's see. All right, so let's see. There's a Washington Examiner. What do they mean? The budget surplus of $26 billion is essentially a rounding error relative to our current annual deficit of $1.3 trillion in the first 9 months of 2025. But the Congressional Office data is still evidence that on the margins, Trump's cost-cutting measures, his tariffs, and okay. So pretty much Donald Trump has raised the tariffs so much that we actually have less that we're actually in a surplus. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's so crazy to be so happy about taxes being raised.
Because, they always say that, well, you're paying the taxes as a consumer. And it's like, yes, of course, costs get pushed down. But, who's paying the most tariffs? Companies that are mass buying and trading with foreign nations rather than just
Americans are.
Yeah, American companies are paying the most of it. So
they're paying all of it.
But it's mostly coming out of, the billionaires, the business deals. I mean, if they just do deals in America, then they don't need to pay a tariff.
They can't do deals in America.
What does America not have that we need?
Enough manufacturing to deal with all of the commodities that Americans need.
Well, yeah. I mean, of course, we are the largest consumers, so you could argue that we don't produce as much as we consume. That's a very valid argument. And I wish we did produce more. I wish that our leaders didn't
sorry.
our factory jobs overseas.
This is actually funny, but I want to put this up here.
But this is part of bad trade deals.
With government ratings swelling throughout the year, June saw a surplus of over $27 billion, following a $316 billion deficit in May.
Right, I mean, it's a big mess to clean up. unfortunately.
Yeah, that's Donald Trump's mess.
Right.
So Donald Trump put
Huge.
us at a deficit of 316 billion in May, and this month we had a surplus, and I'm supposed to be happy about that?
Well, it's a work in progress. I mean, you'll see the economy grow over the next 4 years. You'll see
That's not the
your
economy growing, so that's the government
living-
growing.
You'll see your living wage go up, and
Living wage goes up every
Insane.
month.
it really, even with the inflation under Biden, like people were
Went up every year.
better. So people were doing better every year.
Better
under Biden,
subjective.
even when- Interesting. That's crazy. I didn't
Better
know
is
that.
subjective.
Right. But I mean, buying power wise, economy wise.
Oh no, our buying power went down, but this doesn't affect our buying power. This actually makes our buying power worse.
I guess you could say tariffs make our buying power worse, but it's also keeping the money in the American economy. So then over time, it can only improve it.
So it's not keeping the money in the American economy. It's actually specifically taking it out of the American economy and giving it to the government.
That's true when you're, again, buying foreign goods. If you buy American, then you don't need to pay the tariff. You're saving yourself money. You're keeping it in the economy. And
Sir,
that's what he's trying to
but
do.
they're still buying the foreign goods. That's the reason why we're able to have this revenue into the government. Literally,
Right.
the fact that
Yeah.
all of these tariffs are paying so much money to the government is literally proof that they're still buying all the foreign goods.
Right. That's true. Well, I mean, of course, we always are going to have trade with Canada. We're always going to have trade with Mexico, but we just don't need to have this such large deficit because we don't need to subsidize their countries. They could have a little. Yeah, they don't even pay for their own military, basically. Like,
What do you mean they don't pay for their own military? What the heck are you even talking about?
I just mean they don't have one compared to the U.S. So we basically are fully
But that's our fault. That's not their
responsible for
problem.
defending Canada. Oh yeah, but
We spend more on our military than the next 8 countries combined, 7 of which are allies.
really, 7 are allies.
Yeah. China is the only country of those 8 countries that we all spend more than. The only country in there that's not an ally is China. Every single other 7 countries are literal. I think Canada's in that.
So Russia's not in the top 8.
No.
Wow. And yet, see, this is honestly one thing I don't understand is just like how they're not in the top 8, except they produce the most missiles in the world by far. So it's like, how the hell, like, where is our money going? We might spend $1 trillion or hundreds of billions of dollars on the military each year, and it's just like, where is that money going? Can we actually produce our own weapons?
Yeah, but sir, you just like completely took this subject in a different place. You're saying, like with these trade deficits, he's literally threatening a 50% tariff on Brazil if he hasn't already put it on, who we have a trade surplus with.
Dude, all I'm saying is it's not gay if it's a 3-way. And also, the Jews are in control of most of Western society, and we should probably kick them out before they burn it to the ground. Hitler might be right. You know what I'm saying?
See, It's a very common thing for calls to do that when they know they're getting actually absolutely worked in an argument. They try to say stuff so that I kick them automatically. But the problem is that when I don't kick them, they didn't think of anything else to say. They just expect me to kick them like immediately, and then they just freeze like idiots because they don't have anything else to say. And that's like my favorite part. Is they just like, he didn't kick me 2 seconds later, and they just freeze. Sorry. That silence part is like the best part for me. When they just like, they literally are just such idiots they can't. Oh, his brain actually glitched. Wow, I guess we actually did have a trade surplus or a financial surplus. It's not a good thing, but we did have one. I didn't even read about that. So, hey, I learned something new every day, right? Learn something new every day. I didn't know we had one. But, hey, it's not a good thing, but I didn't know we had one. That's cool. I get to learn something today. I can always learn something. Chris, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I really appreciate that. It says half of the chat in these callers are terrible. Spamming chat to say America supports Trump is annoying and lame. Yes, it is. But sometimes that's all that's as far as their intellect goes. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for this super chat. That really means a lot to me. Thank you so much. And Spencer, again, thank you so much for the $5 super chat, which I can't read for some reason. There it goes. Spencer says, I'm curious to see how many people believe that the ICE raids are actually being carried out by the Proud Boys. That's the hilarious theory I was told. I have not heard that one either. I will also not be researching that. But it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, let's be honest. There's a reason they're not wearing badges and they're in plain clothes, okay? So, because maybe they're not who they say they are. Just saying. It's a possibility. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely need some more YouTube mods for sure. I'm definitely gonna need some more YouTube mods. But I'm gonna work on that later. Make sure you guys join my Discord. If you guys would like, I'm gonna open up the phone lines again. If you guys would like support, I do have the super chats open. I appreciate that, and I'm still trying to clear all this over here. And thank you so much for whoever subscribed. Danielle, thank you so much for this paid subscription on TikTok. I guess I'll do my dance now. No, just say. Thank you so much, Danielle. Hi, how old are you?
I'm 18.
I don't believe you. Hello, how old are you?
Hey, I'm 18. Just turned 18, actually.
Well, just because you came up and said it like that, now I definitely don't believe you. Hello, how are you?
Good.
Awesome. How old are you?
18.
Hello, how old are you? Hello?
Yo, I think we disconnected a little bit.
No, I hung up on you. Don't call back. Hello?
Hey man, what's happening?
Hi, how old are you?
27,
Awesome. What year were you born?
98.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
Currently, but man, I'm hearing your points of view, and I don't really like, as a Trump supporter, want to have like a combative argument. I just kind of want to be like enlightened on like, a couple of the points that you're raising.
All right, we'll try it for a second until I get bored. What's up?
Oh man, I just support Trump because do you think the Biden administration was successful?
It was successful on a lot of things, yeah.
Because personally, just as an American citizen, I just didn't feel it. Honestly, just like I felt a decline. Financially, I didn't feel secure when it came to, international things. I think, I don't know, man. I was just like the Russia thing, man. I just don't think Biden handled it too well.
And how's Trump handling it?
Man, I don't want to have any real controversial takes, but I can appreciate the authority that he's showing. I mean, we spend a lot of money on military, and it's just the national security, man. I was really worried about it under Biden.
Hold on. How's Trump handling it? He's literally still sending money to Ukraine. We're no closer to a ceasefire or a peace deal than we were before. He's literally on TV like crying about Putin not talking to him. Like, how is Donald Trump doing any better than anybody else?
Yeah, but he's kind of got his foot on the gas, man. I feel like with Biden, we just didn't have enough of our foot on the gas, man. I feel like we're just kind of getting rolled on, and that was kind of an issue.
No,
I mean,
there's no difference
Trump's not.
between what was
Trump's
happening
not.
in. There's no difference between what was happening with Biden and what's happening with Trump. The only difference between what's happening with Biden and what's happening with Trump is Trump just talks more.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on China?
They're a country
from
in
a,
Asia.
yeah, from a military standpoint, right now, currently with the U.S. and China, what's your points of view on that? I'm just curious.
You're gonna have to get more specific than that, man.
Okay, so like the threat of China.
They're a huge
military
threat. They're our largest threat on the planet.
Okay. What do you feel about Trump handling China right now?
He's not.
Okay. So where, in your opinion, what direction as a country would be the best way to deal with this with the issue of China right now?
What would be the best
'Cause
way?
I'm just speaking.
Well,
Sorry.
well, again, there's multiple ways we deal with China, but it just depends on what you're talking about. From a military standpoint, from a trade standpoint, on what standpoint?
From a military standpoint, first off, but how that bleeds into a trade standpoint at the same time, like the kind of spider web that we're entangled with China, and vice versa, how they're entangled with us. Like,
Well, I'll tell you this. You know what the best
what's
way
the
to
best
ensure
approach?
that we don't go into all-out war with China is?
Well, no, that's the thing though. Is a war with China inevitable though?
I'm not gonna say anything is inevitable,
Right.
but you know what the best way to avoid that is?
Yeah. What you got?
Well, is to make our economies dependent on each other. And when you have economies that are dependent on each other, they don't go to war, no matter how much they hate each other.
We are kind of dependent on each other. That's what kind of makes the situation a little bit sticky, right?
No, that's what makes it safer. If we're dependent on China and China is dependent on us, and the loss of either of those countries destroys the other one. So therefore, it's impossible to go to war over. Because if we attack China, it destroys us, and if China attacks us, then it destroys them. So therefore, by having trade an alliance as far as trade goes, it actually makes us much more secure. So when Donald Trump goes and breaks that economic, that soft power, that trade deal, it brings us closer to war.
Right. But do you think China uses that kind of against us as like? Don't you think they kind of like weaponize the chokehold they have on like the amount of I don't know what the word is, just the amount of influence and how much they can wreck our economy and vice versa.
Yes, they weaponize it on us. We weaponize it on them. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay, so who do you think has but wouldn't China not still have the bigger advantage when it comes to like who's entangled with whose economy?
No.
Aren't they like the global leader of manufacturing right now?
Yeah.
And that's a scary
Making
thought,
H&M shirts is not going to help them win a war.
Yeah, but no, I'm talking like semiconductors. I'm talking
well, yes, there are certain sectors like semiconductors where we need to be stronger on. That's why the Biden administration passed the Chips and Sciences Act to literally make sure that we could manufacture semiconductors here.
No, I did like that, and that's actually one of my favorite points about what Biden did. Because I'm very much like I don't want to get like combative. I don't think that's cool. I think we need to like be more intelligent than that. But like, I very much did not like the Biden-Harris administration personally, but that actually was one of my favorite things that Biden did was bring that TSMC to Arizona. I thought that was a very good move. I feel like we still have a long ways to go when it comes.
Well, sir, you're saying just to move this thing on. You're saying a whole bunch of stuff you don't like about the Biden administration, but Donald Trump is doing no better on any of it.
Yeah, but in my mind, I'm thinking I think would it not be a good idea to try to sever ties with China because I mean they are Xi Jinping and the Chinese, the CCP, they're kind of is it fair to say they're kind of a dangerous country at this point with the, let's say, recklessness of just the threats and the military action? And
yes, which is exactly why you don't want to sever ties with them. That's the entire point.
Yeah, but like on the opposite side of, I think what Trump is getting at is like just to completely do a whole 180 on that, and it's like maybe we should sever ties with these people, and this is why we should. I think he was going at him so hard with the tariffs is because it's kind of hard to be in bed with an enemy, don't you think? Like that's worrisome. And then
nope.
The national security when it comes to like what do you what's your thoughts on like Chinese spying?
Hold on, sir. You're just jumping from point to point to point to point. Okay.
There's a lot of points.
Yes, they're our enemy. You know who else is our enemy? Russia, which Donald Trump is consistently trying to freaking be friends with. Literally, freaking, he went to North Korea. He literally, even Donald Trump is trying to get in bed with our enemies all the time. Okay.
Well, I
But
think
guess
his
what,
thing is-
sir? When you have a deal with somebody, if you don't like them, then again, that's just mutually assured destruction. If we sever that tie completely, first of all, like, we're both just as hurt. We're hurt and they're hurt. But now we have
Right.
nothing linking each other, so therefore we're more susceptible to attack. Do you want a war?
Well, that's the thing is like, no, obviously nobody wants a war. And
Then
as
why
a
do you
Trump
want to do things that are closer to war?
Well, the thing is, as a Trump supporter, I think there's a lot of misconception with a lot of Trump supporters. A lot of people did vote for Donald Trump off the notion that we are anti-war, and it looks like now it's more we don't want war is what was campaigned on, and then currently it seems like it's peace through strength is what he's campaigning on currently. But a lot of Trump supporters really did vote for an anti-war movement.
Donald Trump didn't take us out of one singular war the entire time he was president, and had more drone strikes during his first presidency than Obama did in 8 years.
Yeah.
Donald Trump
what's
was
your-
never anti-war. He was never the president of peace. He's never
Well, that's
done
what-
anything when it comes to that sort of stuff whatsoever. So
What,
why
what's
are
your-
you like? Why would you think that Donald Trump was going to do that?
Dude, I'm trying to have an intelligent conversation.
I'm just asking
dude,
you a question. I have to cut you off because if I don't cut you off quickly, you just go like you're here, and then next thing you know, you're 4 conversations down. I want to know why you thought somebody that freaking literally created no peace whatsoever,
Okay, I got you.
and
No, I
had
got you.
more drone strikes than Obama did in 8 years, was somehow going to create peace. One who said specifically that he was going to open up the entire war room to Israel
When did he say that?
when Netanyahu visited like 3 months before the election.
Okay, got you. Yeah, no, a lot of his campaign promises were, that of peace. And so it's like you have some good points there. And you know what? You got some good points. That's hard to argue when you're just looking at the facts. What's your thoughts on the Iran bombing? I'm assuming you were against that.
Yeah, it's freaking. Iran is closer to getting a nuclear weapon now than before we bombed them. So of course I'm against it.
Okay.
Literally leaked to Israeli intelligence just came out today and said that they're like almost positive that enriched uranium, that bombs did not destroy it.
Okay. And do you think Trump was wrong for sending more weapons to Ukraine currently, or is there just nothing else we can do about Russia besides send more weapons to Ukraine?
Sending weapons to
Besides-
Ukraine is a good thing for us, so I don't know why I would be against it.
Yeah, no. So, are you concerned with China and Russia's allegiance, and does that threaten our economy and national security?
Donald Trump is much more of a threat to our economy than anything that's going on with that allegiance. And as far as militarily, we were already at threat from China. This doesn't change it.
And then I'm assuming you're against what Elon did with the Doge department,
Did what?
just the cutting of spending, basically.
He barely cut anything.
Okay, that's not what I heard, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, I'm against all of the lies that they said about stuff that they were cutting, when if you actually audit any of it, they didn't cut any of it, which is exactly why he wouldn't testify in front of Congress on what the actual cuts were, or provide receipts for anything of the stuff that he cut, because there was nothing that he actually cut. So I think at the end of it, he ended up cutting like 16 billion or something like that, or something like just ridiculously low. It's not much.
Right. So that was kind of like a whole lot for nothing. Okay, I'll give you that. And then, what's your thoughts on the Golden Dome then? Do you think that would not be a good idea at this point in time to go for it? I mean, the whole big beautiful bill aside, what's your thought? Would you not give a little bit of credit to the Golden Dome?
I mean, it's just putting a name on something that we already have and that we're trying to create better. We already have NORAD. We already have NORAD. We already have missile defense systems all the way across the United States. Our allies do all the way around us. I'm not saying that the idea of having a strong missile defense system is bad. I will say that just having this random weird name of just a random we need missiles to protect our shores. Yeah, we've known that forever, and we've always needed that, and we've had that for a long time. And if he just simply wants to strengthen our missile defense system around the United States, I don't see any like huge negative towards the strengthening of that missile defense system, but the whole at the Golden Dome and making this whole political thing is just kind of a waste of time. But hey, I am going to move on to the next caller because I feel like I'm interviewing to be a politician right now, which I'm not, and I'm here to have a conversation. So have a good one, all right?
Yeah, sounds good, man.
Yeah. I feel like at this point, like, am I running for office? Am I on Fox News? What is going on? Like, sorry, I felt like I was like, are you guys going to try to elect me? Is that what we're doing? Because I'm not running for office. All right. Again, y'all, we're going to move on to the next question, the next caller. If you guys would like support, I do have super chats open. I really appreciate them. And any support that you guys send, it really does help me to keep doing this every day. This is how I keep doing it every day. It's just because of you guys.
It's insane.
Thank you. Hello, how are you?
Good. How you doing, man?
I'm doing excellent. How old are you?
I'm sorry?
How old are you?
31.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Why is that?
Well, to be honest with you, man, I support Trump because, I know that in the mainstream, he's viewed more of like a far right character. In my opinion, he's more of a moderate, in my opinion. And when it came to the election, I just felt like the Democrats and their platform was just too far left for me personally. Some of their policy proposals, things like that. And I do support the mass deportations.
Yeah, Donald Trump's not doing a mass deportation. Let's start there. Second of all, if he is going to accomplish a mass deportation, it's going to be by deporting people that are legally here, and I don't know why you'd be okay with that.
What do you mean by legally here?
I mean by legally here, I mean the fact that he's trying to overturn temporary legal status on Hondurans and Nicaraguans, people that are legally here. He's trying to overturn birthright citizenship, literally people that are literally United States citizens. He's already talked about trying to denaturalize people, again, taking away people's U.S. citizenship that they gained. He's ripped people out of immigration courts, trying to take away people who are trying to do things legally. And even through all of that, he's still underneath the Biden numbers of deportations from just last year, like by a long shot. So the mass deportation of undocumented immigrants is not happening.
Okay. I use illegal immigrants, when it comes to language, just so, we're clear on that. That's the term I use.
I don't care what bad
accurate.
language you use. It doesn't change what I'm saying.
Yeah. I'm just setting a foundation.
It's not a foundation. You're setting a foundation that you're ignorant? Is that what you're saying?
Ignorant? Are they, when you say undocumented immigrants, like, I just feel like that you're, kind of spinning it into a way that, it kind of gives the impression that they might have some type of legal, like, right to be here. But, unfortunately, man, we saw a mass migration of legal immigrants over the Biden administration, man. Like, would you not agree with that?
Of legal immigration, sure.
Okay, so, we can argue the semantics on legal, illegal.
There are no semantics. Either you're legally here or you're
the-
not legally here. There's no semantics on it.
No, when you walk across the border and you're granted, access to the interior of the border without any formal process other than come in, in my opinion, that's illegal.
That would be
you can't do
illegal,
that
and it
anywhere else.
also wasn't happening. So,
It wasn't happening. Okay.
yeah.
As far as the, rounding up, illegal immigrants from court proceedings, I think the issue is, when the immigrants or illegal immigrants are in these court proceedings, they're not rounding up ones that, are, here on a permanent status. These are temporary status asylum seekers. And that's temporary, right?
So people that are
after a
here
while,
legally.
Yeah.
So you
Right,
don't care
temporary
about people
status.
trying to do things the right way. So people that are coming here, trying to be here legally, that are trying to do things the right way, you want them all deported too.
That's not what I'm saying, sir.
That's exactly what you're saying.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that there are people that were abusing the process under the Biden administration.
Sir, who decides
and
whether
those
they're
are-
abusing the process or not?
What's that?
Who decides whether they're abusing the process or not?
Our federal law, sir.
The courts do. And Donald Trump
Uh,
is ripping them out of the court system that would say whether they were abusing it or not and deporting them so you don't know whether they were being abused or not, because that's what the court system is for.
Right.
But Donald Trump is
So-
not trying to find out who was abusing the system or not. He's trying to deport them before we can find out. So again, sir, if you're supporting Donald Trump's immigration policies, you are supporting the fact that people that are trying to do things the right way, trying to be here legally, trying to freaking get all their paperwork in order and go through the legal system, you are supporting deporting those people.
I mean, I would argue someone crossing a Rio Grande River into the interior of the border without, formally filing anything or just walking over and getting a temporary status is abusing the system. That is another semantics that I'm talking about, right?
It's not a semantic, sir.
Yeah, I mean, you're basically saying that, okay, so you can walk across the border, get a temporary status because you're claiming your asylum. Oh, I'm hungry. I need to come over because I'm fleeing persecution, and you get to stay permanently. I don't think that's how it works.
You don't get
I
to
mean,
stay
I could be wrong.
permanently, sir. First of all, almost 40% of people that crossed the border and claimed asylum were immediately deported.
Okay, under the Biden administration.
39% to be
Okay.
exact. So literally,
And
you
how
couldn't
many-
just walk across the border, claim asylum, say, "Oh, I'm hungry," which again wouldn't be a legal way of doing it, and then saying, "Oh, I'm in fear for my life," unless you could prove that it had some type of evidence that you were actually in fear for your life, then you were immediately deported.
Right, and how many people came across the border into the interior that way?
I don't know, a lot.
A whole lot, right?
Yeah, but see here,
And-
here's the thing though. In the United States, we have these things called laws. Right. And according to the law, that's the way our asylum system worked. Now, under the Biden administration, they tried to pass new law that would make that a stricter system, right? That only, that they would restrict the qualifications for qualifying for a court date in the United States. And they also try to restrict the amount of people that would be able to seek asylum in the United States. And they had automatic border shutdowns and all of the things to make that more difficult of a process. But that was stopped by Donald Trump by calling the Senate and telling them that, hey, if we fix the border. And I can pull up videos of the Republicans he called in the
That bill that they
Senate
tried to pass right before the election.
over a year before the election. Sure.
Oh, okay, right. After, we
But
already
that was
had
the
3
third
years
one.
of
You know
mass
that, right?
What's that?
That was the third bill. The first immigration bill was on the congressional floor 1 week after Biden took office.
And Trump stopped that as well.
No, Republicans just did.
Republicans stopped it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it goes back to my point, right? I mean, I know the media tried to, spin Trump as some far right actor, right? I mean, to be honest with you, he's more moderate, and that's my whole point. And Democrats, I mean, for the last 4 years, we've already seen, Kamala in a position of power. And you're basically proving my point. They had 3 opportunities to pass some sort of legislation to mitigate the mass flow of migration, and they failed at every time. So at what point do you say that there needs to be a change in the regime?
Again, sir, if the Democrats the entire time are trying to pass border legislation and immigration legislation, and the Republicans are stopping them, there should be a change of regime. It should be to get the Republicans out. But besides that, you're talking about putting Kamala Harris in a place of power. What exactly place of power was she in?
What do you mean? She's the vice president of the United
What
States.
power does the vice president have?
What do you mean?
What
She's
power
vice
does the
president of
vice
the United
president
States.
have
So-
in the United States according to the Constitution?
Well, so for example, when the big beautiful bill passed, J.D. Vance was the deciding vote, was he not?
Perfect.
So
Deciding vote if there's a tie in the Senate. That's one power the vice president has. What's the other?
Right. So are you arguing that she has no power?
No, I'm
That's what I'm
asking you to
saying?
tell me what power she has.
I guess you're just trying to, I don't know what you're trying to insinuate, that like she's powerless. So
No, I'm not insinuating anything.
I
I'm
don't know.
asking you a question. So,
What
according
power
to the
does she have?
Constitution of the United
Does she
States, the vice president has 2 roles. Two powers,
Okay.
2 roles. One is to be the tie-breaking vote in the Senate if it happens to be a tie. Right,
Okay.
which did happen a couple times under the Biden administration. I believe the infrastructure bill was passed on a tie, if I'm correct on that, and she was the tie-breaking vote. What's the other thing that the vice president has the power to do?
you tell me.
Yeah, the vice president's power is to sit on her black ass and not die in case something happens to the president. That is the only power allotted to the vice president in the United States, to be the tie-breaking vote and to be there in case something happens to the president. That's it.
So she has no sway or influence over her political party or factions. Possibly, convince someone to vote on a measure or a bill that the administration might be proposing. Because the way they're making it seem is that at one point Kamala was powerless, right, in her position, but at the same time, we saw enough from her to elect her as president. Like, it just doesn't mess with me.
No, we saw enough from her before she was even vice president to do that.
Which was that? What was that?
Her great work as a prosecutor and a district attorney in California, her work as a senator, and the things that she was actually empowered by Biden to do, like when she was empowered to go to the Northern Triangle and make sure, and try to reduce asylum seeking in the Northern Triangle and Northern, South America. When we saw those people on temporary legal status, showing up like you so adamantly talked about. And then she went down there and she went and she talked to all the leaders of that, and we were able to help support those countries. And then we reduced asylum seeking in the United States by 50% after she got done. So the things that she was empowered to do was impressive.
Oh, that was her as prosecutor, you said?
That one was her as a vice president.
So she did have some type of sway and influence over, so you see what
Thank
I'm
you
saying?
so
Like,
much, Tara. I really appreciate that. That's not power and influence. She was instructed by the president. Well, requested by the president, because the president can't actually instruct her, but she was actually requested by the president to try to fix the asylum issue and to try to boost up these other countries in the Northern Triangle to help reduce the asylum issue. Right. But she didn't actually have the power to actually fix any of that sort of stuff. She went down there. She said she went up to the president, and the president said, hey, in order to fix, help reduce this asylum seeking, we should do X, Y, Z. And the president went, I agree. And then the president actually had the power to actually implement those things. And then again, we had a 50% reduction in asylum seeking.
So I have two questions. So one, are you basically saying that she really showed nothing in her position of power as vice president to warrant her being remotely qualified to be a president, right? And at the same time, are you telling me that towards the end of the administration, right, before Biden was unceremoniously dropped out of the race, that she was instructed to do that, when they could have done it 3 years prior, when we know and we saw that there was a mass migration of illegal immigrants coming to our southern border since 2020, late 2020, early 2021, and I just feel like it's just the Democrats playing catch up because they realized that issue was a top issue for most voters in America. I know you brought up
that didn't happen in the last.
I'm still talking.
No, but that didn't happen in the last. No one said that happened in the last year of the presidency.
That's what I'm asking you.
No one said that she did that in the last year of presidency because it was before that.
Okay, what year?
I believe it was the beginning of 2023.
Okay, so still we had 2 years of, I know you brought up that Gallup poll saying that, most Americans agree with increased immigration, right? Which is kind of like a misdirection, right? Because, they said immigration, I'm sure most people are for, immigration if it's done legally through the right channels, through the right way. But I believe majority of Americans, I believe I saw a poll recently is on MSNBC, right? Was or CNN, one of the two liberal outlets, 64%.
CNN's not liberal, but go ahead.
Oh, it very much is, bro.
It's owned by Rupert Murdoch, I'm pretty sure, but regardless.
It's fine. That 64% of Americans agree on deporting mass deportations of illegal immigrants. So, I just feel like it's a disconnect.
On mass deportations or just deportation of undocumented immigrants? Because I agree with that.
Deportation of illegal immigrants. Yes.
Well, I agree with that. So I'm surprised it's not higher.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So, this is the whole, deportation of illegal immigrants. It's not a right wing, I guess, political stance, right? And
no, it's not. No one's claiming it is.
Well,
when I talked about Donald Trump's problems when it came to immigration, okay, did I say, oh my God, I can't believe he's deporting people that came here illegally? Or did I say he's ripping people out of freaking courts that are trying to do things the right way? Did I talk about the fact that he's trying to denaturalize American citizens? Did I talk about the fact that he's trying to end birthright citizenship? Did I talk about I didn't even talk about this, but the fact that he's trying to send people to prison, okay, for crimes that they didn't commit just because they're undocumented immigrants, or trying to take away people's student visas for abusing their freaking First Amendment rights under the Constitution. Those are the problems with immigration I have. Now, if you want to talk about what my stance is as far as what we should do about the undocumented immigrants in the United States, that is completely different. But if Donald Trump was just
That's what I'm talking
deporting undocumented migrants, then I don't really have that much to say about it, to be completely honest with
Okay.
you. But that's not the problem. The problem is that Donald Trump doesn't have the the numbers in order to actually do that. But he promised you he was going to have this mass deportation. But here's the thing about finding undocumented immigrants in the United States and deporting them. It's really
I'm listening.
fucking hard.
Yes, sir.
It's
Especially when
really,
sanctuary
really,
cities-
really, really, truly fucking hard.
and
Okay.
especially when sanctuary cities don't cooperate with the federal
Sir,
government.
sanctuary
You
cities
agree?
are no sanctuary cities. It does not matter. Donald Trump could easily go to non-sanctuary cities and go and start deporting people. Okay.
Absolutely.
And actually within the sanctuary cities, there nothing within a sanctuary city law is stopping ICE from going in and deporting people. Nothing. All
They
sanctuary
just don't
cities.
cooperate.
Yeah, all
Yes.
sanctuary cities is saying is that local law enforcement doesn't cooperate with them, but they're more than happy to do it on their own. Nothing's stopping them. Okay. But regardless of any of that, it's really hard. Okay. And especially when Donald Trump said he was going to deport, criminals, which again, if you think if you were to poll people in the United States, regardless of which side they're on, and say, do I want you to deport criminals that are here undocumented? I'm pretty sure it'd be like 90%. Right.
Crossing the border illegally is a crime, sir.
Yeah. And so is jaywalking.
It's a citation. Is it a misdemeanor? What is
They're both Class E
because-
misdemeanors, both of them.
that? Okay, yes, exactly. Okay. Oh,
Yeah. So while, yes, it is a crime, okay, I'm not creating an entire federal agency to go in and bust down people's door to catch jaywalkers. Okay. So,
That's not what
yes,
we're
it
talking
is
about.
a crime, sir. But when we're talking about criminals, I think that we can literally sit on like a sane side, right? Instead of saying like just spouting out, oh, crossing the border is like let's just live in reality here, okay? The majority of Americans, if you just said, oh, if you're deporting criminals, they don't mean criminals just that you crossed the border. They mean criminals that are people who are coming here that either committed crimes or committed crimes in the countries that they came from and then got into the country, right? Because that's what I hear when I hear criminals, right? Like people that are actually going to be a harm to society,
Right,
and crossing the
I-
border
we both
doesn't
agree
make
on
you a harm to society, right?
We both agree on that. Yes.
Yeah. So if Donald Trump was going after and using all this power and all this force and like all this ice, and he's like, I'm just going after people that have committed crimes in this country, especially violent crimes, or that we have proof that committed violent crimes in their countries prior, to coming here or whatever, and they snuck in or they got through or whatever. Dude, not only do I not have a problem with that, I kind of support it. You know what I'm saying? If that's really what it was, where it was just like, we're going after the criminals, we need to get them out of here. I'm 100% for it, to be completely honest with you. I think that's a good thing.
97% of Americans agree as well. Yes.
Yeah, and that doesn't surprise me at all. Who wants criminals, right? Like I'm cool with going after criminals, pretty much across the board. You know what I'm saying? But the problem is that's not who he's going after. Less than 15% of the people that he's deporting have criminal records outside of just crossing the border, right? Less than 15%.
You know what? Unfortunately, the issue is though that you run into, right? And I try to stay on top of, because like I said, Trump's a moderate in my eyes. I don't lean either way. I mean, I might lean more right, if I'm being honest with you, sir. So I do pay attention. I stay on their heads about it. But Tom Homan, I don't know if you're, you pay attention to what he says. He brought up a good point. He's like, when you look for these, he calls them public safety threats, right? More than likely, right, they're going to be around other illegal, or as you like to say, undocumented immigrants. I call them illegal. And that's just the collateral damage of that. Now, would they potentially be classified as, public safety threats or a danger to, the communities that they're in? Probably not all of them. But, do you think that we shouldn't deport them as well? I mean, you're there, right? You're here illegally.
Sir,
You gotta go.
do you
that's
drive?
what it is. Yeah.
Have you ever sped before? Have you ever gone over the speed limit?
Yeah, sure.
All right, awesome. Well, I'm going to refer to you as illegal for the rest of this conversation since you have now committed a crime that is equal to every undocumented immigrant. So now I'm going to consider you illegal for the rest of the conversation. Okay, since you don't like my terminology, then I'll just use your terminology with you. Okay, you criminal.
Okay. What's
All
the,
right,
what's
perfect.
the
Thank you, sir.
citation?
So
I
that's
just need
fine
to
that
ask
Tom
you.
Holman said that. That's totally fine. But when you actually have Steve Miller, okay, Steve Miller, who is a complete racist and part of Trump's cabinet, literally having a meeting with all of the leaders of ICE, saying
Steve Miller's not racist, bro.
Steve Miller is not racist.
No, I actually like Steve Miller. Don't do that to Steve, bro. I like Steve, bro.
That he is a complete racist and been very open about it. He literally tried to bring back Stockman Frisk, but that's a whole nother. You wouldn't know. You're a criminal.
Yeah, we'll say
But
that.
regardless of any of that, he literally had he had a meeting with the leaders of ICE and told them, and he was like, "Why are we not deporting more people?" And they're like, "Yeah, we're going after the criminals." And he said, "Stop going after the criminals. Okay, you need to start going after at 7-Elevens and Cardenas markets and Home Depots."
I agree.
He's
I 100%
so
agree.
so,
You
so
know
your
why?
entire hold on. No, whether you agree or not is ridiculous. Okay, is beyond the
I don't know why
point.
that's
Plus, I don't know
ridiculous.
why
You
I'd
know
listen
why?
to a criminal, right? You're illegal anyway. What I was saying is you're saying, oh well, there's these people that are just getting caught up in these raids, right? Because because they're going after criminals, and then they're catching these other people. Okay, if that was the case, then maybe we could have a conversation. But the specific instructions to ICE is not even to try to go after the criminals, to specifically go after people who have committed no criminal record.
Okay. Now I gotta ask you a question. Okay.
Well, you're gonna have to get better reception or get out of the wind or talk closer to the microphone. I assuming you're running from the police. You're freaking illegal.
That's
But
racist, sir. I'm African
oh,
American.
there you go. Now I
Say
can
that
hear
to me.
you. Sorry, you must have got away.
I'm an African American. You can't say that to me. That's racist.
I'll say whatever the fuck
but
I want to
however-
you.
What's that?
I'll say whatever the fuck I want to.
I don't know if you heard the story. There was a massive ICE raid at a farm in California maybe a few days ago. ICE was shot at by a protester. Turns out that the farm was actually a marijuana farm in California, right? So they raided it, and they found 10. And then this is the allegation. This is the story, right? This is I'm quoting the story. Now they found 10 unaccompanied minors, right, on the pot farm. Okay. Now I find that to be reprehensible.
Me too.
We have child, workers on a pot farm, right? Now,
Horrible,
it
horrific.
Now let me finish. It goes towards the bigger issue when it comes to illegal immigration. The mechanisms that it takes to actually have that come about, right? You have the cartel smuggling people in. You have the cartel smuggling in.
I'm sorry. Do you know that they were cartel members?
What's that?
Do you know that they were cartel members?
I mean, who else is? I mean, when you think about smuggling someone,
No, I'm just asking you. Before you start going off on a rant about them being cartel members, do you know that they were cartel members?
That's not what I'm saying. You're not listening.
Well, then let's not talk
talking
about cartel members if you don't know if they were or not.
No, what I'm saying is, sir, it causes way more issues, right? You have the cartel who are smuggling people, and you also have the issue of unaccompanied minors coming to the country as well. You have the exploitation of illegal immigrant labor. You have the illegal immigrants needing documentation to work potential jobs that entails potentially forging documents, forging IDs, forging social security numbers.
Can we get to the point, man?
What's that?
Can we get to the point?
Yeah, so illegal immigration as a whole needs to be stopped. Yes, you can go for public safety threats. I feel like those are the priority. But as a whole, I don't mind them raiding, you say, Home Depots and farms and yada, yada, because illegal immigration as a whole has a whole other spectrum of issues that it creates. So you have to stamp it any way you can possible.
Yeah. So let's phrase this a little differently. Let's make this easier for you to understand. Okay.
Because I'm dumb, right? Okay. Because I disagree with you.
No, because you're an illegal. So let's replace all of those people there with Americans.
That's not what that is.
No. I didn't say that's what it was.
You're straw manning it.
No, I'm just making an example. There's a difference between a straw man and an example, okay? Let's make them all Americans. Do you still think that that's reprehensible?
If Americans were working on a pot farm,
Yeah, with underage, people there and all sorts of stuff, and firing at the police.
So are
Is
you
it still
asking me,
reprehensible?
I just want to be clear. You're asking me, is it wrong if there were underage minors working on a pot farm?
Yeah,
Unaccompanied, yeah, without parents' permission, I think that'd be wrong, yes.
yeah. I think it'd be reprehensible.
I think so.
Yeah. You see how when it's crime, it doesn't matter whether you're an undocumented migrant or not, because crime is bad regardless.
Not what I'm
Okay.
saying.
So you're making this whole freaking scenario, okay, about crime being bad when we're not talking about crime being bad, because crime is bad. If they're an undocumented immigrant committing a crime, that's bad. If they're an American citizen committing a crime, that's also bad. All of those things are bad. And again, sir, I already agreed with you that freaking, and if the undocumented immigrants are committing a crime, I believe that they should not only be prosecuted for their crime and go to jail for their crime, but then they should be deported after that crime. Okay, but saying that because there was a crime that was happening by undocumented migrants, that we should be freaking inhumane and reprehensible to all undocumented migrants because there was someone commit a crime would be just the same as me, being a reprehensible human being to you because there's someone else in society that that looks like you or sounds like you that was also committing crimes. Oh wait, hold on. Shit. Man, I forgot about that.
Okay.
Sorry. No, hold on. I just thought of a point.
What's that?
Oh. I just thought about all the time in America, where literally people that looked like you and sounded like you as a black man in America were treated reprehensibly, okay, and treated like criminals because there were criminals in society that looked and sounded like you. Like how we had like entire like Jim Crow laws to literally put down people like you, even though you weren't a criminal, you know what I'm saying? But like how our entire society, I'm hold on, sir. I just got to a point. I'm trying to get through it, okay? How literally all of society has literally, especially from a criminal aspect, has been skewed against people like you that look like you and sound like you, right? Because of crimes that were, because of crimes that happened by others, and that how society has wrapped all of one, race or, nation or religion all against people like you to now try to imprison you and treat you inhumanely and be just horrible people to you based off things like your skin tone or, your language or the way you act within our society, where you came from your genealogy and stuff like that. So literally, we have watched this play out, for a century and a half in the United States, and how it was used against black people in society. And it's just kind of crazy how now I have a black person trying to use that same like terminology and that same, like rhetoric and that same like inhumane treatment against others. So that was just something I just kind of, just thought of while you were saying that, but please continue.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I mean, to be honest with you, I've never experienced more like, colorism and, victim blaming from any other side than the left. I mean, that's just my personal experience. So that's just that. Also, sir, I was born in the 90s, so I've never experienced slavery or Jim Crow laws. I'm actually, quite happy with being an American. I'm an American citizen. So, I mean, it doesn't really apply to me whatsoever. Jim Crow laws were implemented by Democrat politicians. And it's just super funny.
You think this is a left versus right thing, and you don't even get it, do you?
I'll let you speak.
No, you don't let me speak on my live. I let you speak on my live.
I mean,
when I choose to let you speak, I let you speak on my live.
Are you going to shut down a black man's opinion?
Yeah, easily. Yeah. I honestly really couldn't give a shit about your opinion. To say honestly that you were born in the 90s and so therefore you didn't experience slavery is just like crazy it's a fact, and it's also very short-sighted and ignorant. Okay? Have you never read a book?
What does that have to do with me not going through slavery?
I'm going to go ahead and take that as a no. Okay. So when we look at history, okay, and we look at history of people in this country, right, especially of black people in this country, okay, then we can read about the last 150 years and how society is scooted against black people. We don't just show up in the last 30 years and go, well, and since I didn't live for 150 years, I guess none of that fucking counts, okay?
That's literally
This
what
is-
that means, though. Like,
Well, I mean, that's what it
it
means to
doesn't
you
matter,
as
bro.
as a
Like,
ignorant human being, but we've
what
already
is
discussed
what
that.
does that
okay?
have to do with like?
Sir, remember how
masculinity?
Okay, cool. So when we're talking about these things, sir, we're talking about history, okay? And history is important. All right? History is how we do not repeat history. All right? So you seeing how black people were treated in this nation is information for you to see how other people are being treated in this country, to not treat
Yeah,
them the
Democrats
same
are
way.
treating illegal immigrants like they treated
Sir,
black
I'm
people
not a
back then,
Democrat.
bro.
I don't give a fuck about Democrats. Stop yelling about
I'm not saying
Democrats.
you.
I don't give a flying fuck about Democrats. Okay? You keep just yelling Democrats. Nobody gives a shit about Democrats. I'm not a fucking Democrat. You're not a fucking Democrat. Stop talking about fucking Democrats. Nobody gives a fuck about
so mad.
Democrats, ding dong.
I don't know why you're so upset.
Okay? I'm upset because you're a fucking ignorant piece of shit. Okay? That's up here that's
Oh,
fucking just running your
man.
goddamn mouth. Okay? About shit you have no business fucking talking about, because it's literally people like you who are the fucking detriment to fucking society.
I mean,
Okay.
black people.
Huh? I mean you. What, sir? I'm sorry that you don't understand what the word you means. When I mean you, I am talking about you as a human being. Okay? Black people are not stupid and ignorant. You are. Okay?
Okay,
Black
so
people
now I'm
are
stupid and
no,
ignorant.
shut the fuck up. Black people are very intelligent people. Okay? Black people are very educated people. Black people work very, very hard in this fucking nation. And black people are smart enough to see that fucking we go through trends in the United States when it comes to different types of races in this country. Okay? Black people understand that. You're the idiot. Okay? So let's make that very, very clear that I am not talking about black men or black you or black anyone. I'm talking about you. You're the one that needs to pick up a book, and preferably one where the primary source of information is not pictures. Okay? You need to learn about the history. You need to probably look at a book and see what we did to Japanese people in this country, or maybe even the history of Polish people or Irish people or Italian people in this country, and watch how the racism and xenophobia has spread all the way throughout the history of the United States, and how it carries from one group of people to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. And currently it's on Latino people in this country. And literally, just because you are now speaking about those people in this fucking country in the same context that people talked about your ancestors in. Okay? And that you made it through. And guess what? After it's the Latino people in this country, okay, it's going to be somebody else. And it's going to be somebody else. It's going to be somebody else. It's going to be somebody else. It's always going to be the next group of people that's coming to this fucking land, this land of immigrants. Okay? This
Hopefully
land
it's
of
liberals
all
next.
sorts of
it's
sorts
liberals.
of people. Okay? We're going to get to a fucking point where it's just going to be the next person, the next person, the next person, the next person, the next person. But as somebody whose genealogy has come from being that person at one time, I just find it very
Ooh, gene theory,
disgusting.
nice.
I'm just very fucking disgusted that you would be the person to actually freaking move that horrible rhetoric on. And it's very, very sad and very, very horrible. But since I think you're a piece of shit, I'm going to hang up the phone now. Okay?
All right, well.
All right, bye. Anyways, dude, it's fucking sad, bro. I'm sorry. It's sad, dude. Actually, I'm not fucking sorry. I'm not fucking sorry. I'm not fucking sorry at all. Fucking fuck that dude. Sorry. I will say sorry about it. Yeah, I get a little passionate about these things. You're right, you guys. I do have passion about certain things. All right. I'm not going to be sorry for having passion about certain things. Okay? I'm not going to be sorry about having passion about certain things. I really couldn't give a shit. just shitty people, bro. Oh, why is it not bringing up? All right, we're going to hit some super chats, and then we're going to move on to the next caller. I really appreciate it. We've been on for like 2 hours. We've been on for over 2 hours, and we're not even at 150,000 likes on TikTok. What are we doing over here, y'all? Let's get this thing going. Dave, thank you so much for this $2 super chat. I couldn't get on due to a train fact. Guys, if you're not looking at Dave's train facts in my Discord, you're wrong. My Discord is awesome. You should join it. Look at Dave's train facts, amongst other things. I actually am not even in my live only chat right now. I need to be better. But thank you so much, Dave. Chris, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Said ICE is deporting people who are trying to do it the right way. Of course, people are saying we need more immigration. Of course they are. Of course they are, because this is not what they fucking, Donald Trump said he was going to deport all the criminals, and he's not deporting the criminals. He's deporting hardworking fucking immigrants who are trying to do things the right way, and people don't like that because people aren't stupid. Last guess excluded, but people aren't stupid. But thank you so much, Chris. I really appreciate that. And Daniel said, not really relevant, but I feel like he may not be black. Nah, he was black. Nah, he was black. If I thought that for a second, I wouldn't have said the shit that I said to him. But yeah, nah, he black. He black. Bet you he was from New York too. Put money on it. Bet you he was from New York. I'm telling you, because I'm telling you. All the weird blagas come from New York. I don't know why. I don't know why. Chicago's another one, but like it might be Chicago. It might have been Chicago. You're right, Sento. New York, Chicago, like they the weird blag always come from like one of like only a couple places. I don't know why. Okay, I don't know why. But Daniel, thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate that. Alex said, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Alex says, y'all need to learn to control your emotions. Calling names isn't a good argument. It makes you look like a child. Alex, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. And I would like to let you also know that you can take that opinion and shove it where the sun don't shine. I'm going to have emotions because I'm a human fucking being. And you trying to suppress people's emotions, especially in a space that's not yours, is really sad. To be completely honest with you, the fact that fucking men like you try to tell other men not to have an emotions is why the suicide rate is so high amongst men in the United States. Okay?
It's insane!
Plus, you know what makes you look like a child? Tone policing people. Okay? Let people have emotions, especially men. Let men have emotions. It's okay for men to have emotions. Okay? If you don't like the argument, don't be a part of it. But I'll still take your $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Alex. Appreciate that. James, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. I really appreciate that. Said, first-time viewer, love what you're doing. Thank you so much. James, thank you so much. W's in chat for James for being a first-time viewer over here on YouTube. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much, man. I really do appreciate that. And Mister, thank you so much. I just want to put the chat on blast. Using YouTube, the chat is just a full of MAGA. There's L host, that guy. Guys, please, when you call debate about Trump's actions, it's not a therapy session for you to lose. I do not get paid enough to be your therapist. I do not get paid enough to be a therapist. I'll tell you that much. But thank you so much for the $10 super chat. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. That really, really means a lot. You guys are absolutely awesome. Y'all, make sure if you guys are on the YouTube set, you hit that like button, you hit that subscribe button. We do this every day but Thursday. So please make sure you're here for it. That's really awesome. I really enjoy having you guys here, and it really means a lot to me. Jim, thank you so much for the $5 Cash App. I really appreciate that. It says illegal is an action, not a person. Thank you so much, Jim. That is 100% true. Yeah, not because you commit a crime doesn't make you illegal. It does make you a criminal. So that's another thing. And Josh, this must have been from when he was talking about Kamala Harris being the vice president, so I must have missed that. But Josh said, please ask him what Mike Pence does. I usually do. I usually like to ask him what, what has any other vice president done, but they usually don't know, so it's usually kind of boring. But yeah. Alex is back. Thank you so much, Alex, for the second $5 super chat. Alex, weak men drag each other down with insults. Alex, okay? I did not drag him down with insults, okay? He was the one that was trying to insult all of black men by saying that because I said that he didn't know what he was talking about, that it went towards black men. And guess what? He didn't know what he was talking about. You know what drags down people and drags down society? Is ignorant men. Ignorant men drag down society. and women. Okay. But literally, the fact that you're up here super chatting me to tell me that you don't like me is literally you doing exactly what you're complaining about me doing. You're literally said, be better. You're literally insulting me by sending this super chat. The only difference is you're actually paying me to be a weak man. You're literally paying me to literally live in a dichotomy. What kind of craziness is that? That is absolutely nuts. Okay? But thank you. I appreciate that. L's in the chat for Alex. Literally never done that for a super chatter ever. But L's in the chat for Alex. Okay? Because apparently Alex is having a rough day. It feels like Alex's emotions are getting a little out of hand over here. I think Alex needs to go see a therapist. Okay? You're being a little emotional, bud. Go check yourself. Okay? Someone said he won't be paying me again. I don't know why he just paid me the last 2 times. I have no idea why he just paid me the last 2 times, to be completely fucking honest with you. If you want me to be completely honest with you. Don't know why. If you want to be completely honest with you. And Sean, thank you so much for the Galaxy. I really appreciate that. Sorry, I saw it earlier. But sorry, I was in the middle of something. But I really appreciate the Galaxy, Sean. Thank you so much. It really does mean a lot to me. Thank you so much. Sorry, this is too funny. Alex, thank you so much for the 3rd $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Alex. I really appreciate that. Okay. Alex.
It's insane.
I'm going to tell you this. I do have a kid. Okay. And you know what I teach my kid? To treat people like she's treated. Okay. I don't tell my daughter to just get walked over by ignorant people. She's a very smart girl. Okay. She's a very, very smart girl, and she's going to grow up and do really big things. Okay. But she's not going to do it by being soft and just letting people walk all over her. Okay. We live in a free country with free speech, and we're allowed to have opinions. Free opinions. All right. But guess what? When I see someone who is doing something to damage other people, that hurts other people, that hurts humanity, that hurts the people around them. I mean, you wouldn't say that. Oh, why would we treat a thief badly for doing robberies? Oh, maybe because it hurts society, because it hurts civilization, because it hurts the people around them. That person is hurting the people around him. It's his rhetoric that is causing people to be sent to alligator Alcatraz. It's his rhetoric that is causing people to be sent to terrorism prisons and abused and tortured. It's his rhetoric that are having freaking children with cancer deported without their treatment. Having kids being ripped away from their fucking from their mothers. That's what his rhetoric is doing. Okay? So if you have more problem with how I talk to him than what his rhetoric is causing, then you're the fucking problem. If you have more issues with what I'm saying than what his rhetoric is actually fucking doing to real fucking human beings in the United States, then you're the fucking problem. Okay? Just be clear on that. All I'm doing is speaking to another grown man, one that I thought, whatever. But anyways, thank you, Alex, for the third super chat. And whoever said he wasn't going to send me another super chat, I knew that was wrong. Sharon, thank you so much for the $50 on PayPal. Say that caller deserved all the smoke you gave him. Thank you. Big W's in chat for Sharon in the super chat or in the PayPal. I really appreciate that. Said deserved every single bit of it. See, if Sharon, someone very close to me named Sharon, love them very much. No, my mom's name is Sharon. So like, if Sharon says that I'm right, then guess what? That's like that's music to my soul. That's all I need to hear. Thank you so much, Sharon. I really appreciate that.
It's insane.
Alex, thank you so much for making it even $20. I'm not going to spend as much time on this one. But Alex, thanks for making it the easy even 20 tonight. I really appreciate that. Sounds like you are raising bullies and that hurts our communities. You can do better. You are not virtuous. You are vindictive and spiteful. No, I'm fucking honest and real. If you don't like it, not my problem. I think Alex is my number 3 gifter on YouTube. I really appreciate that. I'm not going to spend any more time on Alex. Chris says, Alex, give him a call. I would love to see how this goes. Alex, go ahead and call in. I would love to talk to you. That'd be perfect. MK, thank you so much for the super chat, Chris. I really appreciate that. MKN, only weak people hide their emotions. Go Polly. Hell yeah, dude. Big day chat for MKN. I freaking... Real freaking men can fucking show some goddamn emotion every once in a while. We don't have to be all freaking tucked up and freaking all heavy. This is the reason why the suicide rate's so high in this country to begin with for men. Because men are allowed to show emotion. I have emotion. That's okay. It's okay to have emotion. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that at all. Thank you so much, MKN. I really appreciate that. I can't read this one for some reason. Oh, there it is. Real men talk like this to each other. Keep it up, man. Thank you so much, James. I really appreciate that $5 super chat. Really. This is how real men talk to each other. Real men call each other out when they're fucking up. That's what real men do. Real men call each other out when they're fucking up. Straight the hell up, dude. That's what real men do. Thank you so much, James. I really appreciate that, brother. And Felix, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Said the people who love Mexico the most refuse to live in Mexico. The privileged people that hate the United States of America the most refuse to leave. Make that make sense. Your laugh is annoying. Felix, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. I think that you're flirting with me. I'm not really sure. Okay, but I am taken, so I'm really sorry. No, I don't hate America. I love my country. I love my country so much that I don't allow people like you to ruin it. See, that's the difference. I love my country so much.
It's insane.
That I don't want people like you to ruin it. So why would I go to Mexico? This is the best country on the planet, or at least it was. And we're trying to get it right back there. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Mr. says, Alex, don't have a child, but just like Paulie, I wouldn't raise a disappointment to society. You need to put thought into your messages. 100%. I do like the start of the do not procreate. I do like the just don't procreate, first of all. But if you do, raise your kids to stand up for what's right. Okay? Raise your kids to stand up for what's right. It's weak men that freaking let their kids just freaking believe whatever. Raise men to raise your kids to stand up for what's right. That's important. That's how we create better society. Thank you so much, sister Mr. Miyagi. That is probably my favorite name I've heard in a long time. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. And Chris, thank you so much for the another $5 super chat. I really appreciate that. I love these guys being so moral and righteous while they support Trump. The guy who made fun of a physically disabled person. Here's the thing too, Chris, and here's what's really wild. The making fun of the disabled person is like one of the least bad things Trump has done. It's one of the least bad things that he's done. Like, I'm not sure that, and I know it doesn't make the top 10. I'm pretty sure it doesn't even make the top 100. And if it does, it's like on the end. Like, it's a horrible thing, but he literally raped someone. Like, they literally support someone who's a felon, who's a rapist, who fucking, like, defrauded a children's cancer charity, who fucking, like cheated on his first wife with his second wife with the third wife with a porn star, sexualized kids, talked about sexualizing his daughter, who's literally ripping healthcare away from people, ripping SNAP benefits away from people, was good friends with fucking Epstein. Like, that's the it's so, like, and it's a bad thing that he did, Chris. I'm not saying it's not a bad thing. It is a really bad thing. But, like, goddamn, dude, the dude has so many fucking things. It's like it's oh my goodness. It's just, I lose track after a while. It was a horrible thing. Maybe it's just so much stuff that it's that's what the worst part about Trump is the worst part about Trump is that he has so many bad things that I think we start to get desensitized to all the bad things. And I think that might have been me feeling a little desensitized right there. That's freaking horrible. I also like desensitized by but thank you so much, Chris. But I really, really do appreciate it. Just, there's so much shit. There's so much shit. All right, phone lines are back open. Let's keep this thing going. Sorry, we had to have a moment after that last guess. How you guys like the new hat, though, if you guys haven't seen it yet? You guys like the new hat? Hello?
It's insane.
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing great.
Awesome. How old are you?
58.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
After reading half of that big beautiful bill, yep.
All right. What do you like about the big beautiful bill?
It's going to give us more money.
How?
How? He's cutting taxes. Not just for the rich.
Yeah. So, what? Yeah. Literally, it's an extension of the 2017 tax cuts. So if you're in the middle class, it's.
I got a question. Have you read that book? Have you read any of it?
Yeah, I was kind of talking there. Did you not hear me?
Yeah.
What? Doesn't make any sense. Yeah, so again, it's just an extension of the 2017 tax cuts. It's not any more tax cuts for the middle class. It's the same tax cuts from previous.
Oh, so what about no tax on tips and overtime?
Yeah, the no tax on tips is a very small percentage of people, right? And it's capped at $20,000. And there's very strong stipulations on the no tax on overtime, and those are only temporary. I think they have like 2-year time limits on them.
Yeah, and they can extend them again, just like they extended this time.
I think it was 3 years. It's 3 years, and Trump won't be in office when they were to get extended.
Yep, exactly. That don't mean the next president can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, $20,000 is fine. Like, I mean, it's whatever. It's not really that beneficial. I mean, it's going to be some benefit, but like, really, $20,000 is again a very, very small percentage of of what we're talking about when it talks about no tax on tips. Like, and again, like, this is something that benefits me, right? Like, all of these super chats that you're saying, I can write these all off as tips. That doesn't, like, it's not even not beneficial to me. I'm just saying, like, in the long run, it's not really.
It ain't beneficial. How much money are you taking in tonight? It sounds like quite a bit.
It sounds like it's going to be very beneficial.
Again, sir, I don't vote just based off of like my specific stuff. If you really want to be beneficial and you're talking about people that are like full-time waitresses or full-time, like, things that do like work primarily on tips, right? Then $20,000.
You've taken more tips, more money tonight than the average waitress will in an entire 8-hour shift.
That depends on where that waitress works.
Yeah. Let's be realistic.
No, realistically, like I could make a lot more money being a waiter.
I don't know.
Oh no, I definitely know. Dude, have you seen my face? Have you seen how charismatic I am? Bro, give me a table of freaking ladies, bro. I'm clearing 30% on that table. I promise you.
I try not to stare at men's face. That's just me.
Why, you scared, bro? I'm a good-looking dude.
I don't look at men. I'm sorry, I don't roll that way. But if other people do, that's fine. I have no problem with someone rolling that way.
Honestly, like, no joke. I think it's it's a little gay if you can't recognize another good-looking man.
Nah, I don't look.
No, truthfully, like if you can't recognize that another man is good-looking, like it's a little gay. Like it's a little like closeted. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not attracted to men. Like I'm straight, but like, dude, if there's a good-looking guy, I'll say there's a good-looking guy. Like there doesn't hurt. Like it's not hurting my credibility anywhere.
Hey, different generation.
But regardless, or what I'm saying is that waitresses are especially at decent restaurants. I don't even mean decent, like I mean just like decent. Are making like around over $50,000 a year, so they might be able to not claim part of it, and that's good for them. I wish it was more extended, but that's still not that's not a broad-reaching tax cut for the entire middle class. That's again, tipped workers are a very, very small percentage of the middle class. It's
and
like
as far
1%
as
or 2%.
When you call them the divider in chief, let's face it, there's not a president out there that didn't divide the country in one way or another.
Not in the way that Donald Trump has.
And just for the record, Obama spent more money on the debt than Trump did as far as the deficit, slightly more.
I don't believe that's true, but even if it is true, he did it over 8 years and not 4.
We ain't done with this term. But do you also agree that but you kept saying that Biden brought back the economy after COVID. We wouldn't have had the economy wouldn't have crashed if it wasn't for COVID. You can't blame Trump for COVID.
I don't blame Trump for COVID, but COVID still happened, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we still needed somebody to bring us back from it, right?
And Trump would have brought us back if he had won the last election. No, I'm not what
you can speculate on that, but Donald Trump didn't bring us back. Biden did
because he lost the election.
Right. So who did do it?
Do you honestly think Joseph Robinette Biden was running this country?
Yes.
Really? His Build Back Better should have been called Build Back Bad.
Did you think about that one all night or something? Or did you just hear it on Fox News?
No, I don't watch Fox News. Have you ever read the Epic Time newspaper, sir?
No.
Maybe you should.
I doubt it.
It's the most non-biased news source there is.
Highly doubtful.
Where do you get your information from? May I ask?
Usually primary sources.
Where's your name them?
Primary sources change based off of what you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
Sir, what do you know the difference between a primary, secondary, and tertiary source?
Oh yeah, there's different type of sources all over the place.
Yeah, there are. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. I try to stick to primary sources.
Just like you made a short a couple weeks ago or a day ago about
he's a fan.
The new candidate about the guy running for mayor.
He's a fan. Yes, I did make a short about Zohran Mamdani. What about it?
Do you honestly think he'd be good for New York?
Well, I don't know. The people of New York think so.
I mean, so he wants to get free transportation. That's just buying votes.
Yeah, if we're gonna buy votes with public transportation, I'm totally cool with that.
It ain't free though.
Well, sir, nothing's
What's
free.
free?
Your police force isn't free,
Exactly.
but you don't complain about them responding when you call 911, right?
I don't call the police.
Oh, do you want to be able to?
No,
Oh, you think the police shouldn't exist?
nope, I didn't say that. I
That's
don't
what I'm
need-
asking you because again, we use funds, social funds within our government to fund the police, to fund the fire department, to fund your road works, to fund all sorts of things within the government. So using public transportation as another form of that, I think is a good thing because public transportation absolutely helps people, especially when you're talking about, people that or you're trying to make sure your economy keeps moving and your job creation is good, right? People's ability to get to work is very important. And if you actually look at countries that have free public transportation or cheap public transportation, but more importantly have strong public transportation systems, they're actually very, very useful. I lived in one in Italy where it wasn't free public transportation, but it was, it was very reasonable public transportation. And it was very nice.
I've never used public transportation in my life. Never will.
Well, again, sir, you probably don't live in a city, do you?
Yes, I do.
What city do you live in? I'm not gonna come hunt you down, dude. I really don't care. It's just
No. We've talked before. I live in Elmira, New York. It is a city.
Oh yeah, no, not really. Like I'm talking about a city, dude. I'm not talking about like a small little city, and that's fine. But like I'm talking about a real city, like New York, Chicago, like Atlanta, like Los Angeles, right? You like Seattle even, or something like that, right? Like we're talking about real big cities. You know what I'm saying? And like in those cities, public transportation is actually very common. Like people right now pay for really, really bad like public transportation. So making the public transportation system better and then improving it actually does truly help the people of New York City. I think that's just a lack of understanding of what what living in New York actually is like.
Have you ever lived in New York City?
No.
I'm 3 hours away from New York City. I've been there. The cost of living there is outlandish. He wants to pay for it because he wants to tax the businesses.
Yeah.
To pay for this.
So what?
And he also wants to defund the police.
Yeah. So what?
So you think they need less police in New York?
Defund the police doesn't create less police.
Oh. He wants to cut their wages. He said that.
He wants to cut the police's wages. Where did he say that?
Well, during his campaign, he said he wants to cut their wages.
I don't believe he ever said that, and I never heard him say that.
That's how he wants to defund the police department. That's part of it. He also wants to cut as many
If you actually,
as they have.
if you actually look at most like people that are more socialist, like Mamdani, they actually generally want to increase the wages for police, but that's in order to get better candidates, so you don't have as many bad people as police. If you increase the wages, then you get better candidates, and when you get better candidates, you actually make for a safer police force.
Yeah. What do you call a good police candidate?
What do I call a good police candidate? Somebody that not only knows his way, around enforcement of police and arms, of course, prior military people are usually great as far as the arms are concerned, but then people that also have de-escalation and techniques and don't always result to violence or the threat of violence in order to get their way, that can actually talk people, because at the end of the day, it's peacekeeping, right? It's law enforcement, but it's peacekeeping. You're there as a public servant first, and then as an aggressor only if necessary.
But he wants to tax the businesses to the point to where I don't think they'll stay.
Yeah, that's what everyone says about California, and they just keep raising business taxes, and companies keep showing up.
Yeah, how many people have left California, you think?
Not very many. It's like less than a 0.5% of Californians have left over a long period of time.
I know a lot of people have left California.
Yeah, and as a lot of people leave, a lot more people show up.
Yeah, it's why one of the most expensive states to live in the country.
Yep, and also the fourth biggest economy in the world, and the most populated state, and the most popular state, and yeah, everybody pretty much loves it.
Oh yeah, they love they love it. That's why there's some more homeless people in California just about any other place in the country.
Yeah, when you have big states that, you know, are very popular, you're going to have big state problems. Yeah. And that's one of them.
Yep, and it's like I've been to California too. It ain't that pretty.
I grew up there. It's beautiful.
Where'd you grow up in California?
Riverside County.
Yep, Riverside County. Yep. There's areas that are a hell of a lot worse than that.
There are worse, and there's a lot better too.
Yep. Los Angeles is one of them. Van Nuys.
I'm not a big Los Angeles fan. Huge San Diego fan though. But yeah, I mean, I would never move to LA. But that's just, well, I'll probably never afford to live in LA, so it doesn't really matter. But I don't really know where we're going at in this conversation, and I only have so many more left. So,
the reason why I'm just saying, the reason Trump is bringing in industry back to this country, which we need. GM has already announced they're bringing back, closing plants in Canada and reopening them in the United States.
Good for them. Manufacturing jobs have been down the last 3 months in the United States.
Yeah, but the United States used to be the superpower of the world in manufacturing. Now it's the second. China is destroying our economy as far as industry.
We're still a better economy and a stronger economy. They just manufacture more shit.
Yeah.
But manufacturing is just a small part of an economy.
Oh, you don't think people would like to work and make more money working in factories?
People make more money not working in factories. That's the reason why China has all their factories, because they pay them less.
Yeah, they pay them peanuts and they give us scrap products.
Right. And those peanuts and scrap products are the ones that come to the United States and people buy them. When they're made here, they're actually good products, or for the most part, they're made a lot better products, and people can still buy those. See, when I go to buy a broom for my house, yes, I could go buy an American-made broom. That's probably a very excellent product. But I'm going to go on Amazon and I'm going to buy one for $3 because if I throw it away, I don't care. Okay? I'm going to use it to sweep up cat litter or something. I don't care if I throw it away. It's not a big deal to me.
I buy for quality. I buy something for longevity.
I buy certain things for longevity, and I buy certain things for to toss away. It just depends on what the product is. You know what I'm saying? Like if I go, sometimes I go to H&M and buy a freaking, hoodie for $20 that if I destroy it the next day, I don't really care. And sometimes I go and buy very nice American-made hoodies and stuff like that I want to, keep for a long time. Like I have very nice Carhartt hoodies and and stuff like that. But there's both. I can enjoy both. I can have very nice, well-made quality things, and I can also have cheap shit. And it's nice as an American that I have that option.
I agree, but as far as I still want to see our industry come back the way it used to be.
Well, I don't think it's going to, but regardless, I'm going to move on to the next caller because, like I said, I'm closing in on 3 hours, so I want to get one more caller in. But I do appreciate you, all right? Have fun in Elmira.
Oh, yeah.
All right, man.
Oh, I will.
All right, bye. Dave called it, which is pretty funny. Dave said, I got to get off. Have a good night. I think this is the guy from Elmira. He actually said it. That's pretty crazy. He called it. Thanks, Dave, the train guy. I really appreciate you. And Alex, thank you for making it the clean 25. Sending on the Colorado area code. Pick up my call. It's what people want, Chief. They'll survive without you. If you make it on here, that's fine. They'll survive without you. Trust me. And Chris, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Said investing in the economy is never a bot vote. More people spend money in the economy more people spending money in the economy is money going into taxes. Invest in public goods. Exactly, Chris. Chris was on fire today. That was the chat for Chris. Chris has been on fire. He's been sending the super chats. I don't think he's missed yet. Or she has missed yet. I actually don't know if it's a he or she. I don't know who you are. Hi, whoever you are. You haven't missed yet. And thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. You have not missed, and I really appreciate that. That's really awesome. All right, we're going to take one more. One more-ish. We'll see. Oh, maybe we're going to. We'll see the phone line. Phone lines are open. We'll see if we get any more callers. Trump gets his depends from China. Hello, how are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How old are you?
27. With yourself?
I'm 38. Do you support Trump?
I sure do.
Awesome. Hey, y'all, if you guys are on the YouTube side, make sure you hit that like button and that subscribe button. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. We do this every day but Thursday. If you're on the TikTok side, let's get this up to 200,000 likes. Oh, we're so close. Let's get this up to 200,000 likes. Also, make sure you hit that follow button if you haven't already. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right. So why do you support Trump?
So I actually voted for Biden in 2020. So boom. So I ended up supporting Trump due to me making more money and wanted to best protect my family. And that's where it all stemmed from my transition from voting for Biden to voting for Trump. If that makes sense.
I mean, the words you're saying make sense. The substance behind it doesn't make much sense. How is Trump helping you protect your family?
Absolutely. I mean, the biggest reason was truly because of the immigration policy.
And how is that helping you protect your family?
From Biden to Trump, the immigration policy is way better, more safe, sound for American citizens, and myself, my family included. And
yeah, but sir, you're saying that, but like how?
How such?
Well, let's start with where do you live?
I currently live in the West Coast. So West Coast, I actually see the state of day.
Like California, Arizona, like southern border. You live like West Coast, like
exactly California, Arizona, Texas.
Okay, awesome. So when you're talking about friggin' border policy, let's be very clear. The border policy currently, well, up until the big beautiful bill just got signed, has not changed. Right, the border policy in the United States is exactly the same. It was the same under the Biden administration as it was under the Trump's first administration. The policy has not changed. Okay, so
only the people in charge have changed. So, which if you have more of a directive to actually do your job and support which side of the field, that is, I think, in my terms, that's what changes the people and their actual prerogatives. Because Kamala Harris being the actual previous border czar versus Trump's border czar, they have the complete same power. However, one is taking more action than the other. Am I right or am I wrong?
You're completely wrong because Kamala Harris was never the border czar. She was never named the border czar. We don't even have czars.
She was not appointed the.
No, she was not, and I can prove it very easily.
Please prove it.
Yeah, sure. So
says Kamala Harris is in charge of the actual border policy.
Yeah, sure. So I can literally put it on the screen right now from a Time article that I literally have bookmarked. But I don't even need an article to prove it. I can make you prove it.
That Kamala Harris was not border czar.
Yes, I can make you prove it.
Well, if you say you have it bookmarked, why would you not just?
It's already up, sir. I can prove it without. It's already up.
Here, I'm looking. Here, I'm checking it right now.
Yeah.
So you're telling me Kamala Harris, or who's the running border czar for Joe Biden then? If you have it there,
there is no border czar. There was no border czar. No border czar has ever existed until this term.
I see. So nobody was in charge of the border control, and that's exactly
there was someone in charge of the border patrol, which is why I said I can prove it to you.
What did they call?
Sir, I've been trying to get to this point, and you've been yelling about this article. Do you want to take a look at the article, or would you like me to get to my point?
Let's be real. Let's be realistic. Come on.
Okay, cool. So I am going to now, sir. I'm going to prove it to you.
Emotional.
Sir, I'm not emotional at all, and if I was, I am allowed to be. Okay, but I need you to go ahead and get it under control. Okay, so. The Republicans in the House of Representatives, you do realize that under the Biden administration, the Republicans held the House of Representatives, correct?
Sure.
All right, awesome. And you do realize that these House of Representatives were very, very angry about the border.
Sure.
Awesome. So because they were so angry about the border, they decided they were going to impeach the person that was in charge of the border. Who did they impeach?
You tell me. I would be curious because I'm looking up on Congress.gov that Kamala Harris was appointed the border czar under the
that's just first of all, that's just Congress saying stuff. Who did they actually impeach for the border? Sir, you're on the computer already. Why don't you just look up who the House of Representatives impeached for the border? Why don't you go and look that up?
Well, if that is so important to you, why is it not important that you just lied that Kamala Harris is not appointed the border czar and you sent a Washington Post false flag article to where we just looked on Congress.gov an actual
Sir, I am not going to do this with you. I've literally been on for 3 hours.
We're
And
looking at
no,
race
sir, I
culture.
need you to listen to me very, very clearly.
We're talking facts.
Sir,
Talk facts.
I'm going to have you listen to me for very, very clearly. Okay?
I sure will.
All right,
But
awesome. No,
you're gonna
no,
lie
this
again,
is
huh?
your turn to be quiet. Okay? Okay. I have been on for 3 hours. Okay? I worked all day today. Okay? And I'm tired. Okay? So, I am going to have a conversation with you like
All you have to do is Google Congress.gov. Kamala Harris was appointed border guard of Biden administration.
I am going to give you one
You're
more
a
chance to
liar.
be quiet. Let me finish this sentence, or
You
I'm
got it.
hanging up the phone on you. Okay?
Sure, kid.
Awesome. I am not doing this with you. Okay? I am
What,
either
you're
going
not
to have a
gonna talk back to me.
convert.
You got it.
Okay, goodbye. All right. I was trying to let you know I wasn't going to play this game with you. Okay? But you don't want to listen. You think it bothers me to kick you off my live. It really doesn't. I have no need for you to be here. I've been here for 3 hours. I do not care. I tried to talk to you like an adult. Okay. I don't know why they just are going to act like children regardless. Hello, how are you?
I'm good.
Awesome. How old are you?
39.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
I actually don't, but I did want to talk about a couple of things that happened in that previous call, not the one that just happened, but the one that Alex was so up in arms about.
Well, hey, I do really appreciate it, man. But like I said, I've been on for like 3 hours, and so like I'm trying to like just finish off with one Trump supporter
understand
before
that.
I get off.
I wanted to keep it short.
You got like 40 seconds, bro. Go.
Yeah, so I am also African American, and the fact that his ignorance is so well pronounced is absolutely
Oh, you're talking about
appalling
that
to me.
guest. Yeah.
Yeah. That was absolutely appalling, and I do not support anything that came out of his mouth, and quite frankly, it is absurd the amount of ignorance that he had.
It's really sad, isn't it?
Within the span of, like, he was born in the 90s. I was born in the 80s.
Yeah, me too.
I experienced countless amounts of racism as a kid. I came home from elementary school. I asked my mom, "Hey, Mom, what is the hard R word? What does that mean?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's absurd.
It is.
And he somehow doesn't believe that was a thing.
Yeah.
The amount of segregation that still happened because of Jim Crow laws is absurd. The fact that the neighborhoods, because of Jim Crow laws, forced for African American individuals to be put into so many different underpoverished areas, forcing for them to be, have their knees cut out from underneath them. It was horrible. And yet, somehow, all of that history doesn't matter.
Well, he probably doesn't know the history, and that's the sad part about it, right? And like I understand that, and here's the sad part. Even though I was raised like by the entire black side of my family, I was not raised with near enough black history growing up, and it's very sad. I didn't learn that till I was older, right? And so I understand that like a lot of people like don't get that, that black history knowledge when they're younger, because I didn't, right? But that's no excuse for now, right? Like that guy said he was 31 years old. Go learn. You have the time right now. Go learn. Go find out, about how life has been in America for people of color, and then check yourself a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not telling you have to be all the way on my side or that you have to believe everything that I believe, but check yourself a little bit. Like try to at least have an understanding of some type of history of black people in America, and just race, and the history of race in America, I think is just super important. And it just makes me sad that he was like that. But like I said, I am trying to get one more Trump supporter caller in, so I am going to drop you down, but I do appreciate you coming up, right, brother?
Yeah, I appreciate you taking the call.
Absolutely, man. Have a good one. Sorry, it's just because I'm trying to get one more in. And y'all, look, I know there's a lot of freaking creators out there who will just talk to anybody like, and just yell and scream and you know what? I'm not in the mood, y'all. Sorry. You want to come up and have an actual respectful conversation? We can have one. If not, I'll just excuse you. It's not that big of a deal. Hello, how are you? Hi, how are you?
Hey, I'm good.
Hi, how old are you?
Insane.
I'm 29.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
Yeah, I do. I'm actually Alex that's been sending the super chats.
Oh, Alex, my biggest fan. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good, bro.
Awesome. So you said you do support Trump?
Yeah, I would say so.
No wonder you got your feelings hurt so bad.
It's insane.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question, Alex. Okay. Why do you think? First of all, how old did you say you were?
29.
You're 29. Awesome.
Yeah.
Why do you think that you can come to my space, right? That I run all by myself.
Yeah.
And you can tell me exactly what tone and how I'm going to talk to people. Okay? Like, why do you think that is okay for you to try to come to my space and ask and tell me how I'm going to run my stuff?
No, good question. I'm not coming to tell you how to run your stuff. I think I'm just drawing attention to the fact that the way you are approaching these conversations is not particularly effective. I'm not here to control. You can do whatever you want. I listen to you a lot because I do like to consume as much opinion as I can. I just calling out the fact that I think it's a little bit disrespectful and unproductive, maybe is the word.
Yeah. See, and here's the thing, Alex, and this is what I'm going to let you know about. Okay. So I've been debating. Well, I'm newer to YouTube. I just started moving over to a lot of YouTube stuff in May, right? So I've only been on YouTube for like 2 months, and I've been doing this on TikTok since October of 2023. So I've been doing this for a long time. Okay.
Okay.
There are creators that do all sorts of stuff, right? There are creators that just let people talk just and say whatever kind of bullshit craziness they fucking want and just go off on a whole thing. Okay. And there's some great creators. I can recommend some to you. Okay. And there's some other creators who don't let a single person get a single word in. That just cut off.
Right. Don't you open up your channel for dialogue?
Hold on. I'm not finished. Okay.
Okay.
So what I do in my personally, I let people open and talk, but I don't allow misinformation on my live. Okay. And if you're going to start acting a certain way, then I'm going to treat you a certain way. Okay. And that's all it is. But here's the cool thing about it. Okay, Alex?
Well, I think a couple callers ago, the guy there was no misinformation from his end. He just had an information that you disagreed with, and you frankly,
I'm
called
sorry.
him a piece of shit, which I thought was inappropriate.
Well, he was being a piece of shit.
Okay. Yeah. But that was just based on his opinion, not the information he was spreading.
He spread all sorts of misinformation.
Your attempt at shutting him down because it didn't seem like you had an effective argument to offer.
Sir, I don't need to shut him down. I am insanely smarter than him when it comes to this stuff. Okay?
Insanely smarter. Right?
No, like insanely smarter. Okay. I could have sat there and let that guy spread misinformation and talked about like for the next 3 hours if I really wanted to. Okay. He was not even in my galaxy. Okay. Not like he wasn't even in my sphere. And that guy was spreading misinformation the entire time. He spread misinformation about how many freaking undocumented immigrants were coming in here, what criminals are doing. He made up an entire whole thing about freaking what cartel members were doing in the United States when there was no proof of cartel members, right? And then he literally started freaking repeating rhetoric that Donald Trump is using when Donald Trump is literally using rhetoric that is completely quoted out of Mein Kampf. I don't know if you've heard of it or not, right? It's dehumanizing language. Okay. And when we start using dehumanizing language, or we start allowing for dehumanizing language within our rhetoric, then people become less than human. Okay. So when we're talking about migrants, and we can have disagreements on immigration policy, I don't really have an issue with that, and we can be very simple about that. But when we start using dehumanizing language, and I'll give you an example of dehumanizing language, right? Calling someone illegal. Calling someone illegal, which he did for 40 minutes. Okay, because people are not illegal.
Paulie, I'm the son of an immigrant.
That doesn't change anything to me.
And
calling someone illegal is dehumanizing.
Calling someone a piece of shit is dehumanizing. And frankly, you're the host. And I think if you're going to preach ethics like that, it would behoove you to lead by example instead of
sir,
insulting
the
people.
cool thing,
I'm not sure you're actually capable.
The cool
of
thing about
having
your
a civil
opinion is that it doesn't
conversation
matter
with
to
somebody
me.
who disagrees with you.
No, the cool thing about your opinion is that it doesn't matter to me. Okay? Because if you think that I'm doing it wrong, sir, if you think I'm doing it wrong, sir, if you think I'm doing it wrong, sir, if you think I'm doing it wrong, I encourage you to try to do it.
No, not. You're doing it.
You wouldn't last
the way I would
20
do it,
minutes.
And I figured that I would offer that bit of
You
input,
can't
but I'm
do
not
what I do
convinced.
because you're not as smart as me and you're not as good as me. And
You're
honestly,
insanely
you
smarter.
sound really fucking soft.
That is true. Yeah, you are insanely
Honestly, you
smarter.
sound like really fucking soft. Okay. But I just want to let you know at the end of the day. Okay.
Paulie, could we talk about politics, please?
We could. Okay. But I want to let you know at the end of the day.
You're just calling me dumb and throwing insults.
No, I'm calling
around.
you
I'd love to talk about
soft. I'm not
politics.
calling
I
you
thought
dumb.
That was the point of this.
I'm
whole
not
thing.
calling you dumb. I'm calling you soft.
Uh-huh.
Which you are.
Uh-huh.
Because you paid me $25 to
Paulie,
cry
one of
about
us
how I
is-
was talking to somebody
one of
else.
us is
And now
in
you're
complete-
on my live. Okay.
Yes.
Crying
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like
about
you
how
have the
I
ability
talk to
to
somebody else, right? Completely ignoring that he demonized and dehumanized an entire group of people, right?
Paulie, one of us is incapable of holding composure. I'd be careful.
You've
about
cut
what
me
you
off
start
6
projecting.
times. I've counted.
Uh-huh.
You want to talk about
I don't think you stopped
composure?
talking in 10 minutes.
You want to talk about composure, sweetheart?
This is the game that you play. You
No, I'm not playing a
you
game,
talk
sir.
people
I'm
out
not
of
playing a game, sir.
conversations.
Sir, I'm not talking anyone out of any conversation. I have zero respect for you as a human being.
I know,
Okay,
and that's the
because
problem.
I don't think
it's
that
your
you're
lack
worth
of
my
humility.
conversation. Okay,
It's
so
your
I am
lack of
treating you
humility,
as
Paulie.
such.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. You're incapable of maintaining composure.
Yeah, I get on
to
here and have
resort to
composed
personal
conversations with
it's
people
ad
for.
hominem.
Yeah, I sit here and have composed conversations. Sir, I have had 3 hours of conversations and called one person a name, but yet
Yeah.
I'm
You shouldn't call
incapable.
anybody
Sir,
a
I'm
name,
going to
though,
hang
right?
up on you if you cut me off again. I've been on here for 3 hours, talked to I think about 10 different guests, and called one person a name. You've been on live, on my live, for all of 2 minutes, and you've called me a name 4 times. Who is incapable of having freaking rational conversation? And there you go, cutting me off again. So who again is having an inability to have a conversation as you cut me off for the 7th time? Who is having the inability to be able to have a rational conversation as you've just cut me off for the 7th time?
Was that a rhetorical question?
No.
So do you want a response? I'm confused.
Yeah, so when you ask if something is a rhetorical question and I say no, that would mean that I want a response.
Okay.
Yeah,
Could
that
you
would be the
rephrase
opposite
it?
of a rhetorical conversation. I thought I made that pretty clear.
No, you haven't stopped talking, and I'm unclear about what you actually want. It seems like you just want to drown out your guests instead of allowing them to speak. But I'd love to talk about politics. I'm sorry to get into that with you. I don't mean to be insulting at all.
Oh, I don't care. I don't want to talk to you at all. Bye. Anyways, I was going to actually have one more conversation with anybody who actually wanted to actually have conversation. That guy's a waste of my time. I have a conversation with that guy. I'll open the phone lines for one more actual real conversation. You must be out of your whole damn mind. Not talking to you. Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, you're not old enough. Hello, how are you?
Oh, hi. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How old are you?
Sorry about that. I have my stream out. I have your stream out. I'm 23. I currently reside in the southwest, the southwest border.
Awesome. So why do you support Trump?
So I do, but I don't. So I support him on a couple of things, but I also disagree with him on a certain amount of things. While I agree that calling somebody an illegal shouldn't be something we do. It should be something we normalize. However, I do think that people who break the law by crossing the border, because they're, as you know, according to, I think it's U.S. subsection, I forget the exact code, but
it'd be 8 U.S. Code 1135.
Yeah, I think that would be the code.
It is.
Yeah, crossing the border would mean that you are essentially entering the country illegally, and which that is a crime. And I do think that we should enforce all of our laws.
Right. So do you support the knocking down of our doors for jaywalkers?
Knocking down on our doors for jaywalkers?
Right. Well, and since you're talking about, enforcing all of our crimes and illegal entry according to 8 U.S. Code 1135 is a Class E misdemeanor, right? Which is on the same level as jaywalking or a speeding ticket, right? And since you believe that is, according to our law, a crime, then you think that according to, the way that we're doing things at the border right now, that we should be enforcing crimes at the same level. So every time that we have someone that runs a red light camera for speeding, we should have a whole federal agency, the most expensive federal agency on the planet, right? Going to their doors and knocking down their doors and ripping them away from their families, right?
So just to clarify, because I could have sworn when I read up on this law specifically, when I looked at the U.S. subcode
1325. Dang it!
Even though it is typically used as a misdemeanor, at least during the Biden administration, it was. I also know it could also lead to a felony. If I'm not wrong, if I'm not mistaken.
So it's not used as a sorry, and it was 1325 was the code, not I messed up the code. So just want to correct myself on that. 8 U.S. Code 1325 is what happens when you have a really smart girlfriend who can correct you on the spot. It can only lead to a felony if it's multiple times, right? So if it's multiple times, it can escalate to a felony. That is true, right? But just illegal entry in itself is just a misdemeanor, right? And again, that's not saying that we don't enforce it. We enforce speeding in the United States, right? We enforce jaywalking in the United States. What I'm saying is that the level at which we're enforcing it or how we're enforcing it isn't proportionate.
On the same length. Yeah.
It's not proportionate.
Yeah. So I see what you mean in terms of should we, obviously treat it as a felony warrant and conduct a search warrant or whatnot of somebody's house. I see what you mean on that. However, I do think that at the end of the day, if you cross the border legally, I do think that you should be deported unless there is circumstantial evidence that you are fleeing from a country that you are in danger of, if that makes sense.
Right, sir. I'm not saying that if you find somebody that, especially that committed another crime or something like that, that's in the United States, they shouldn't be deported. That's the law, and I don't have a problem with that. What I'm saying is that Donald Trump just made ICE the biggest law enforcement agency in the United States, right? ICE will be funded larger than the IDF, the Israeli military, after this bill is passed, right? And at the current rate that Donald Trump is passing is deporting people, right? He's under the Biden administration's numbers. Less than 15% of them have any other crime besides, illegal entry, right? And a lot of these people are working in with our society. Last year in 2024, undocumented immigrants contributed $100 billion in taxes across the United States between local, state, and federal taxes, right? They're working, they're helping and boosting our economy, they're paying a lot of taxes. They're not hurting one. They're not committing any crime, and the level of money and the amount of enforcement that would be required to deport 11.6 estimated undocumented immigrants would be insane, right? Where what we need to do is make sure we have a strong border, right? So we're not allowing people to come in undocumented because that's really where the problem is, right?
I agree.
And then we need to have people that are here and give them a pathway that aren't hurting anyone, right? That aren't criminals, that aren't doing anything wrong, right? Allow them to now contribute more to our society because right now they're contributing taxes into our society and for social safety nets that we benefit off of that they can't, right? And it's going to negatively affect our economy if we have that type of mass deportation event anyway, right? And Donald Trump understands that. That's why he stopped, deporting people from agricultural industries or hospitality industries because he understands that the deportation of these undocumented immigrants hurts us economically, sociologically. Those protests in LA, that's what it was, right? That's breaking up of societies. These people were, integral within the societies of these cultures, right?
I can see that.
Yeah. So again, it's not for some reason, like Donald Trump has gotten this whole I mean, he didn't even run on deport all the migrants, right? That's not what he ran on. He ran on, I'm going to deport all the criminals. I don't have a problem with him deporting criminals, right? I don't have, I mean, if you're a criminal, then I want the government to go after you regardless. You're a criminal. Lock them up, right? Do your thing. If they're undocumented, have them do their time and then deport them.
So just to clarify, sorry if I interrupted you.
You're good, man.
So just to clarify, so we both agree that if they're committing a crime, they should be held to the fullest extent of the law, correct?
Yeah, but that's no change from the Biden administration. They did the same thing.
Yeah, I know. I did. I saw that. Because you mentioned it, I think yesterday. I have watched a couple of your streams while at work, and you did mention that, and I had to Google it myself. I guess Biden pulled over 100,000 in his deportation versus so far Trump has made about 70,000 or something apparently. The numbers.
Trump is around 200,000 last year in deportations. Biden was 685,000.
Okay, yeah. So my bad. I guess I looked at the wrong source.
Now let's be straight up about the numbers too. I don't want to let's not hide numbers or try to falsify numbers, right?
Yeah.
The majority of the Biden administration deportations were deportations at the border, right? It was people showing up at the border. He was stopping them, which is what Customs and Border Protection's job is, right? Their job is to protect the border. They're protecting the border, and they deported a lot of people from that. And a lot of it was people seeking asylum that didn't qualify for asylum and were deported also off of that. It wasn't a lot of going into societies and trying to uproot people from wherever they're at. That wasn't a lot of it, and that seems to be Donald Trump's main priority, right? I mean, you said you live in SoCal, right?
So to be specific, I live actually in New Mexico.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm from SoCal. I've actually lived in New Mexico. I lived in New Mexico for about a year.
What part?
You don't want to know. Not a good part. Anyways, but not a fun part at all. But regardless, I just watched a hospital today, right? In Ontario, California, which is very close to where I grew up, right? My first job actually as a teenager, well, my second job technically, my first legal job was in Rancho Cucamonga, which is actually the next town away, right? So it was Ontario, California, right? And ICE was chasing down a landscaper at a hospital, right? Pushing his freaking his arm up against his neck. Guy couldn't breathe. While the hospital staff begs for him to ask for a warrant, ask for IDs, ask for just the simple smallest bits of law enforcement proof, or why are you in this hospital? Why are you chasing this guy down? Why are you doing this? What has he done? None of that other stuff. And he was an undocumented migrant who was working, providing, right? Not causing any trouble. And he got chased down and beat up for what? In front of the people that liked him, that cared about him, that thought he was a good person of society. I don't think I don't think that's a good thing, man. I don't think that's a good thing. And again, not just for them. For us, right? Remember I told you that I was saying my first legal job? Well, guess what? My first job that I had was roofing in freaking Palm Springs, California. Me and my friend that worked there were the only two people who English was our first language in the whole thing. And I will tell you what, those dudes outworked the shit out of me. Oh my goodness. I thought I was bad. I was 15 years old, freaking played every sport under the book. And was getting worked by 50-year-old freaking dudes that at the time I didn't even know they were undocumented migrants. I didn't even know it, but I was just man, these dudes fucking work really hard. And I was man, I got my ass kicked, right? So anyways, what I'm saying is there's an enforcement of the law, but then there's also just gross over enforcement of the law. And there's there's a line in between there, and I think that we can hit the line of making sure people that are coming over here that are doing nefarious things that are wrong. I think we can enforce them to the strongest extent of the law, and people that are really here, they're trying to do the right thing, they're trying to gain, you know, some type of legality, they're trying to work, they inputting taxes, they're taking care of their families. I think that we can make some type of rules for them also, right? It's both.
Well, okay, so I see what you mean. So what you're trying to say, at least what I think you're trying to say, is that you want reform instead of us solely going after these individuals and spending a certain amount of resources on these criminals. Well, to be blunt, they are criminals, at least according to the law.
Yeah, in the same way, again, that a jaywalker is a criminal.
Yeah, it's still criminal. It's still breaking the law nonetheless. I mean, the same way how I failed to make a turn. Well, no, because no, never mind. Sorry, I was about to go on a stupid tangent. But I think we could both agree, at least from your statements, that even though Trump may not be running the border, or I mean, they may not be enforcing the law that we want, I think we can both agree for reform on that, and hopefully be able to get, you know, all these people with papers and be able to have them productive members of society. I do know, at least here in my state, we have what because a lot of Hispanics and Mexicans alike without papers tend to also be used in the workforce. How do I put it? I guess they tend to be abused in the workforce. Like, for example, there was a construction site I was doing security for, and at the construction site, these Mexicans and whatnot were getting paid about $7 an hour versus these other guys who were getting paid like $20 an hour because they had papers.
Yep.
I feel like they are definitely getting abused in the workforce field, and that's why I feel like we should get them papers in some way, shape, or form. However, I don't think crossing the border is the right move to do so.
I also agree with that.
So,
but you also have to really understand, right? Like, all of this was fixed under the Biden administration if Trump hadn't stopped it. Like, there was going to be more money for Customs and Border Protection to hire more people, to have more technology. We were going to get, like, the people that come over here and they seek asylum and stuff like that. We were going to be able to process their asylum cases faster, right? It was going to reduce it from like 5 years down to like 6 months. There was more budget funding for ICE. There was even funding for the wall, even though I don't even believe that that's like the correct thing to do. There was funding for all of these things to help, you know, enforce the border more correctly, but to also open up some more paths for citizenship, right? That would have been actual comprehensive immigration reform. It was written on a joint team between a Republican, a Democrat, and an independent. And it was stopped because Donald Trump called Congress and told them not to pass the bill because he couldn't run against Biden on the border if they fixed the border.
See, that I wasn't aware of. I wasn't aware of that at all. Mind you, I just started getting into politics due to the recent developments between Biden and President Trump. So I definitely have to do a little bit more information with that. I'm going to say.
Well, before you go on, I'm just going to tell you real quick. You can look up Senator Lankford, right?
Lankford.
He was the primary writer of the bill. He's a Republican out of Oklahoma. And he is on Fox News, and he gives an entire interview saying that he killed the bill, that the senators and Republican senators killed the bill because of Trump, because Trump asked them to, and he talks about it openly on TV.
Do you know when? Do you know exactly what source? Because I'm not too sure how to look this up on Google.
I could pull it up.
Lankford.
I can pull it up real quick.
Okay, that'll work.
Lankford. I haven't actually looked this up in a while, so I'll see if I can find it.
It's insane.
Yeah, it's actually funny when you just type it in, AI overview just fucking gives you something. Sorry, when this first happened, AI overview wasn't much of a thing. James Lankford has stated that he stopped efforts to pass a bipartisan border security bill. He claims that the bill, which aimed to address the situation at the southern border, has been effectively halted due to political posturing and a lack of genuine interest in finding a solution from Republicans. Literally saying that, like, Republicans did not want to fix it. That's wild. Here's the video, though. It's on YouTube. from May 20th. Yeah, from May 23rd, 2024.
Come on in, Senator James Lankford. He is a Republican from Oklahoma who was the top Republican negotiating with Democrats
I'll probably look at that here
and the White House initially on this border bill. Senator
I think
Lankford,
I'd like to move on now from the border thing because I think we overall agree on most parts of.
Can you give me 1 second, real quick?
My apologies.
No, you're good, man. I think this is the one.
I'm here on the Hill, I believe. Thanks for being here with us. Appreciate the time. So.
Let's see if I can jump to
the House passed HR 2, sent that over to the Senate. We brought it to the Senate, voted on it. Democrats all voted against that. So this whole game of, well, Republicans voted against this and Democrats voted against that. So we worked on it several months ago. My focus is if we really want to pass something, get everybody back in the room again, try to resolve it. But there's been no work on that at all. This is literally just a messaging prop to do fundraising out there on.
I'm trying to find the part where he
the
talks about
presidential election to be able to resolve this. There were folks that came out and gave.
Oh, here it is.
Voted for this when it had Israel and Ukraine funding attached to it, versus tomorrow when it comes back up, because there'll be a whole group of Democrats that will not vote for it tomorrow. So the numbers will be less tomorrow than what they were 2 months ago when this came up.
I think it is this
and that's the frustration that I have with this is we need to show momentum that we're getting things done, not that it's getting worse.
You mentioned the word frustration. Are you frustrated at all that Trump killed the first bill, the one that you negotiated?
Yeah, I'm frustrated with the whole process on that, to say the least. Obviously, President Trump came out and said, hey, this is not good politics. Wait till the presidential election to be able to resolve this. There were folks that came out and gave all kinds of false information about the bill. There was a famous, it lets 5,000 people in every single day, which is completely 100% false. But there was all that kind of rumor that was out there. It takes away executive authority. It makes things worse. We heard it all. But when you actually go through the bill, it actually increases the number of agents, doubles the deportation flights, increases the number of screenings that are actually done, speeds up the screenings, takes away a lot of the appeals process to get to a faster decision, changes the way the asylum
This
is
one's
done.
actually better.
It makes a very significant difference. Did it get everything we wanted in it? No. But it got a lot of things done in it, and that's where I'd love to see this or something like it pass. But to do that, you've got to have a real effort to be able to get it done, and that's not what we're seeing this week. We're just seeing a messaging vote.
I want to leave you with this, Senator.
Sorry, I actually just played the video of Senator Lankford saying that because I couldn't help myself. But anyways, sorry. Are you still there? I apologize.
Yes, sir. I'm still here.
Yeah, sorry. I actually did. Like, I know you can't hear it on the phone over there, but I was actually playing the video of Senator Lankford saying that Donald Trump called them and had them kill the bill. But sorry.
Yeah, I was trying to watch it on the stream, but your stream is a little delayed on my.
It is. It's delayed on purpose. But yeah, sorry. But anyways, what were you saying?
All right. So I think overall we agree mostly on border reform. However, we disagree on a couple of things, and that's fine. I would like to move on to another thing. So another thing that this is one of the biggest reasons why I voted for Trump. Well, one of the two biggest reasons. The border I actually really didn't care too much for. One was obviously that overtime bill. I thought that no tax on overtime would be a lot more substantial rather than this $12,000 limit that we have. That's neither here nor there. But my main argument is the Second Amendment. As you know, with President Biden and with former Vice President Harris, they were talking about how they wanted to create a registration, create red flag laws on firearms, and wanted to essentially ban AR-15s. That was their argument.
That was never said.
I could have sworn, and I think it was said by actually President Biden, because I watched the whole YouTube video of it was a YouTube video of him talking about it to the press, if I remember correctly. I'm not sure how long ago this was.
Yeah. Let's be very clear. What's the most restrictive law that has been passed on firearms in the last 16 years?
Are we talking about federal, or are we talking about
federally?
State?
Of course.
Federally. No, actually, I don't think there's anything federal on the federal level that I can say that was.
Yeah, it's the bump stock ban. It's the bump stock ban. And it's not even close.
Well, the bump stock. Okay, yeah. So, which of course, I think that was brought down by gun owners or the gun association or whatever.
Yeah, later. But who was it passed under?
I actually don't know.
It was under Donald Trump. Okay, that's who was passed under.
It was under President Trump.
Yes, it was under President Trump. Trump was also on video saying that we need to take guns away from people before we find out whether they've committed crimes or whether they've been convicted of anything. Donald Trump has been very not, gun heavy he's actually been quite anti Second Amendment pretty much throughout his entire political career. And if you compare that to Kamala Harris, who again is a very well-known gun owner, and Tim Walz, who was actually the congressional sharpshooter for like 3 years in a row and is an avid hunter and gun owner, I don't really understand why you're saying that it's against the Second Amendment. Like, let's not also forget that Obama had a supermajority and could have at any time passed gun legislation and chose not to. And there's a reason behind that.
Well, at the time I was a kid growing up. I haven't really analyzed anything about Obama. I was just, again, I'm pretty young. I'm a pretty young man. But regarding, so I never saw no video or anything about that, but I'll gladly do some more research about that later. About President Trump ever saying anything about taking off bump stocks or anything like that. I would love to do some more research on that. As for Kamala Harris, though, I do know that in one of her speeches that she gave, if my memory serves me right, that she wanted to create a registration and ban AR-15s at one point.
Yeah, I mean, at one point, Donald Trump was a Democrat.
That is true, but what I'm saying is this was recently, back like within the last 5 years or so.
Sir, no one's trying to take your guns away from you. Okay, we've had assault rifle bans in the United States, all right. Well, and at the same time, when we had those assault rifle bans, it took away nobody's guns whatsoever. And at the same time, it actually decreased mass shooting significantly in the United States. Well, okay, the entire idea that somehow the left is coming after your guns is a complete propagated fucking lie. Okay, I don't know anyone on the left. Truly, I don't know anyone on the left that doesn't own a gun.
So why would the left say ban AR-15s? Why would they ask to create registration? Why would they insist on red flag laws? Why would they infringe upon the Second?
That's not infringing.
I would disagree, because as you know, according to the Second Amendment, it says, the right to keep and bear arms shall not be.
Who interprets the Constitution?
Obviously, I would say the Supreme Court, right?
Awesome. Are you familiar with DC versus Heller?
DC versus Heller. No, I'm not familiar with that case.
Yeah, DC versus Heller is one of the largest gun legislation, piece of gun legislation that has ever been passed in the United States, and it specifically, actually, Anthony Scalia, a very tight Republican, specifically said that the Second Amendment, by its wordage of infringement, does not mean that you cannot create restrictions. Okay, it does not mean that you can have whatever you want. I mean, again, in the United States right now, we have certain pieces of legislation that restrict suppressors. We have certain pieces of legislation that restrict automatic weapons. You can't go out and buy a bomb or an F-16 or many other restrictions that you have in the United States. The Second Amendment on the not infringement does not mean that you cannot restrict and put legislation around it, right? So having things like red flag laws, having, trying to keep guns out of the hands of people that should not have them is not an infringement, okay? It's just trying to keep things safer. That'd be like saying that seatbelts infringe on your ability to drive a car.
Well, I mean, as you know, driving a vehicle is not the same because it's not constitutionally protected, as far as I'm aware. I would say it's more of a privilege than owning the right to your firearm, which is self-defense, and hence why, as you know, America was founded by guns, specifically by individuals that fought during the American Revolution. Noticed that the British were going to take our country unless we fought back, right? So hence why they made into our Constitution, so they know we could protect.
That's not true.
Domestic governments.
That's not true. The reason why the Second Amendment was written was in order to protect the white people away from slave rebellion. That's the reason why the Second Amendment was written. Now, again, if you're familiar with DC versus Heller, you would know that DC versus Heller also ruled for the ability to be able to own a gun outside of a militia, Okay, and actually for personal use, which is actually what the Constitution says in the Second Amendment. It says in order to keep a militia, and that militia would be similar to what we consider our National Guard. And I don't think anybody's complaining about our National Guard being able to have guns, right? But that's actually the way it was written, was actually from the militia to be able to own guns in order to form in order to keep and maintain a militia is what the Second Amendment says, right? It doesn't say that everybody should be able to have a gun, right? But then when you look at the DC versus Heller decision, that decision actually said that people individually can own a gun, but then it also said that there's nothing stopping the government from being able to legislate. To be able to legislate, to be able to put restrictions and safeguards on those guns. Right. But the Second Amendment was not because of a rebellion against British. It was a fear against slave rebellion. And again, sir, this is not saying, okay, for some crazy reason that people are just trying to take your guns away. Okay. It doesn't make any sense. The fact that we have more mass shootings and more school shootings than any country on the planet is a problem. Okay. And I think that as the United States is as supposedly the best country on the planet, we should be able to walk and chew gum at the same time. We should be allowed to have people that are allowed to to carry weapons, to fire weapons, to shoot recreationally, or to be able to protect themselves at their home, or to be able to hunt. They should be able to do all of those things, right? And enjoy the things in the United States that we allowed for people to have guns for, right? And I don't have a problem with that. But saying that because we should all be able to do that means that we shouldn't be able to put any restrictions on it. And this is why we have more, children that die of gun violence than any other cause in the United States is ridiculous, right? Your Second Amendment right doesn't give you a right over children's lives, right? We need to be able to have restrictions that make sure that people in this country are not, children are not afraid at school to be shot by certain weapons and all sorts of stuff, or any weapon for that matter, but also to be able to do both. But we need to be able to study it, and we need to be able to put research into it. And right now we can't study it and we can't research it because the NRA just takes every single thing that we try to do with guns and tries to make it an attack on your freedoms, which is just simply not true.
And this may sound subjective, but I think I would agree with the NRA here because I feel like, and again, this may be subjective. I personally felt that, according to that, the Second Amendment was written to protect us from a foreign and domestic government, from foreign governments and domestic terrorists, things of that nature. And I also think that, for example, let's look back at mind you, this isn't the 1900s, but let's look back when my parents were growing up. My dad, my grandpa used to always talk about how, in their pickup trucks, they had guns. Mind you, I am African-American, by the way. Not that it means anything, but
I know.
But, my dad and my grandpa used to always talk about how they had guns in the back of their truck when going to school, and how, all their friends would get in their trucks. They would head out here to the Mesa, go shooting, have a good time after school. And I think that, let's say, okay, for example, here in my state, we currently have, I think this is also a federal law. You're not allowed to bring guns on within a school district. And I think that infringes on my right? So let's say, for example, I'm carrying my firearm out in public on a sidewalk, but I enter a school district, or at least a school zone, if that makes sense. If I can't carry a firearm in there, in the school zone, because it's potential felony, and I can be charged with that, I would say that's infringing on my right to defend myself and or others.
Yeah, but it's not, sir. I mean, the Geneva Convention exists. There's certain places that the military can't take guns. Okay, because then if you're allowed to just take guns wherever the hell you want, then you're infringing on other people's rights, right? So that's your issue, sir. You for some reason think that your rights to own guns somehow trump every other right that we have as the United States, right? We have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Let's also remember that the Second Amendment is exactly that. It's an amendment. It was not written originally in our Constitution, right? It was added later. Okay? So when the Founding Fathers built this country, They didn't have guns as a part of it. That was something that was added by a constitutional Congress later. And again, I've already explained to you why it was added. It was literally to stop slave rebellions, right? So let's stop there, right? But just because you can't take something there doesn't mean that your rights are infringed upon. Okay, you have the right to protect yourself in your home with your guns. You have the right to go to a range and shoot if you want. You have the right to go hunt in order to use your weapons as you want. That does not give you the right to just carry a gun wherever you want. That is not an infringement of your rights. That is just what I like to call common sense. Okay, because to be completely honest with you, I think that in the United States, in order to have a gun, you should know how to use it. And I think that we should have a lot more restrictions on people just having whatever they want. I also think that the ability to shoot or the ability to recreationally shoot or to be able to hunt or to be able to protect yourself has a limit. And I don't think that you need 50 guns in order to be able to do it. Right. But more importantly than all of this, I think that we need to be able to study and research how guns are negatively affecting our society and how many children are freaking dying every single freaking year from gun violence because people like you think that it's an infringement on your rights for anybody to say anything about your guns, but apparently don't think that those children have the right to live because you're holding that gun. You holding this ridiculous and again unconstitutional and anti-freaking Supreme Court, conservative Supreme Court view on guns is killing children. What makes your right as an amendment to owning a gun more important than a child's right to live?
So why? So
no, that was a serious question. Why is your freaking ability to hold a gun more important than a child's right to live?
See, I don't see how that correlates, and the reason why, right, is that I think at the end of the day, I should be able to protect people with, again, my firearm. I feel like, especially because I've been due to my job, I've been in multiple use of force situations, both deadly and less lethal, right? And this is taking place both at my home, outside of my home, and here at work.
Sir, no offense, but why aren't you answering my question?
No, I'm trying to get to the point.
No, you just said that you just don't like my question, and that's pretty much what you're saying. But I'd like you to answer my question because
let me rephrase
yeah, because again, our inability to research guns is the reason why kids are dying. So what makes you think that your right to own a gun without any type of restriction, without any type of knowing what kind of person you are, you're talking about you. I'm sure you're a responsible gun owner. I'm sure you're trained to use the weapon that you have. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about a general question because if you are doing the right thing and you are trained to use it, then I have no problem with you having it. We're not talking about you. Okay, I'm asking you why you think that proving that you are able to have a gun is more important than children's lives. That's what I'm asking you.
And see, I don't. So the reason why I'm having trouble the reason why I'm having trouble answering this question is because I don't understand it. I think that because of my firearm, I'm able to protect children. In case, let's say, a crazy maniac were to do something stupid, and I pray to God that never happens. I don't want nobody to die. I'm a pretty soft guy. I wanted to make sure that I think everybody should have the right to live. I agree. I don't think we should ever. I don't think people should suffer because that just hurts my soul, hurts my heart.
Yeah, sir. I don't have like a super long time. Okay, so I'm going to cut straight to the chase. There are more guns in America than people.
Yes, sir.
If your theory was correct, there would never be a child that died. If your theory was correct, and your ability to have a gun is stopping the crazy people from doing what they do, then there would never be a school shooting because there would always be someone like you around. But Uvalde, Texas proves that you're completely wrong. As the police sat around for over an hour and watched children get killed, including a friend of mine's son. Okay? All those good guys with a gun stood outside the building while a crazy person gunned down children. okay? As a crazy person, gun down children. You're good guy with a gun. They were all outside watching, waiting, scared. Okay? And Uvalde is just one example of 100 examples that we can give in the United States where a good guy with a gun didn't stop shit. Okay? So to be completely honest with you, this whole good guy with a gun thing, which is, by the way, has been debunked by so many agencies, specifically police agencies, has debunked this over and over and over and over. All right, that a good guy with a gun is actually more likely to cause harm than freaking just them not having a gun, getting out of the way so that, you know, so that real professionals can come in and do their job. Right? This entire like good guys with a gun thing is literally a farce. It's a fucking joke. Okay? And again, sir, you need to understand that you can have your guns. You can be able to protect yourself and your family. And we can also have laws in the United States that make sure that things like happen at Uvalde don't happen. Okay? You can have both. It's not difficult, okay? But the only way we get to being able to have both is for you to put this ridiculous rhetoric that you have, okay, and tuck it in your pocket and leave it alone and let smart people do smart things. Let the people that freaking are able to study these things, let them actually do their fucking job so we can actually get to a point in America where you can be happy and children aren't fucking dying and we can have both. That's the only way we get there. That's the only way we get there. The longer you hold on to this rhetoric, the more children are dying for nothing. And you're not there. You're not saving them. If you were saving them, you would have done it already. Or someone like you would have done it already. And it's not happening.
Well, according to there's
hey, sir, no offense.
Yeah.
I'm getting offline, so I'm done talking about this conversation, but have a good night, okay?
Yeah, you as well, sir. Thank
All
you
right.
for your time.
Yeah, I'm getting offline because I realized I've been on for almost like 4 fucking hours. Like, holy shit. It's like way long. Real quick, let me go through some super chats real quick. MKN, don't ever change, Paul. I keep exposing these MAGA nuts with your spirit and soul. They're in a cult, so emotions sound like a threat to them. 100%. Thank you so much, MKN. Chris, to remind chat, ICE is arresting people at courthouses where they are trying to maintain their legal status. Stop talking. 100%, Chris. Thank you so much. Final super chat from Chris. Read the Constitution as the ultimate law of the land. Learn about it. 100%. Thank you so much. Jay Money said, for the next caller who would inevitably talk about immigration, let's look up the due process. 100%. Alex, I'm not even going to put your super chat up. I hope you're still here, but I'm not even going to put your super chat up because you're not worth my time. Go away, child. By the way, oh no, I will say this about Alex. You see how I just had a nice, calm conversation with that last gentleman? It's very simple. You're the problem. Frank, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Said people are weapons, guns are tools. You can take away the tools, but you still can't change the person. As your discussion here, can't change peeps. No, you can still have bad people, but if you take away the tools away from people, the bad people, that's also helpful. If you take the tools away from the bad people, and they're less dangerous, right? Anyways, y'all, I'm off for the night. I'll see you guys later. I love you guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful night. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Bye. Oh my God.